And hello and welcome to another exclusive episode here on the TCG Party Podcast. This is your host of the Fortress Striker coming to you live in his room, his sad square circle room, because we have the biggest, the baddest, and the bestest episode to talk about, and it's not about card games. Sorry, you don't like that? Well, then you can go find somewhere else. But it just anything, guys. Wrestling is the main topic for today. But before we do, let's go ahead and meet our guests. Today, we got a special guest. First of all, we got our regular guest host, the man with the mic himself, the man with the brains, the master of all that is Claster, Giovanni.
Like, comment, and subscribe. Please don't leave.
We got the man with the birds, the man with the bees, and the man with the woos, Cameron G.
Woo! Hey, listen, man. It's supposed to be a TCG party, right? That's what I heard. Am I in the wrong place?
No, you're just lost. And today, our special guest of this time, I mentioned him in many episodes. For today's episode, we replace him with Noel because why not? He plays Yu-Gi-Oh! He's done GOAT. He's quit GOAT. He's played Yu-Gi-Oh! He's done this. He's a good friend of mine, the wrestling show. You guys saw him in the video of the Facebook page. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you himself. Please don't take this into authority. The King of Jews, Moses.
Oh, hail the King of Jews. Thank you for having me.
No problem, even though your brother is a Christian. Bad joke, but okay. So anyway, guys.
Da-dum-dum.
So today's guys, I'm excited because we're going to mainly talk about two things, unfortunately, but bear with me. This is actually very special to all my wrestling fans out there in the card game community. I know where the hell you guys are. We're going to be talking about the AEW Miami show that me and Moses went on the day of my birthday. It was a hellacious show, and
The fucking blast. Let me just tell you guys right now.
best show I've ever had, ever. This was my third wrestling organization to go to, and in my head, realizing the third show I went in once every decade. I went to the Miami show 2 days of WWE, which SmackDown ECW recording, 2 days after WrestleMania 24 in 2008. I went to the TNA Lockdown pay-per-view that took place back in 2014, the same year where I graduated in the same arena at the University of Miami. And that was and now here I went in AEW Miami at the St. James L. Knight Center downtown, where we had the best show, the biggest pop in history, and the first actual live tour of AEW since the COVID. And now that the COVID is finally done, not really done, but you catch my drift. We're now back to the show, and it was a massive pop. I wouldn't call it a sold-out arena because I did have 3 seats right in front of me empty for my signs, but we had...
You got fired.
And
Yes, I chanted Don Callis.
we have a lot we didn't tell you. So we had, so I got Justin Roberts legit call out. On Saturday, didn't get recorded, but I was just too excited. I had my sign up, and he said he'd tell everyone that it was my birthday, and it was a huge honor, and I was happy about that. So we got to see Big Show, Tony Schiavone, Excalibur, the great legendary JR himself, Jim Ross. We had a lot of good wrestlers there, although we didn't see John Moxley. But if you caught the episode, if you've already know what I'm talking about, so everything you saw in the episode was live and recorded, including a fan attack we had. I don't want to go step by step, but I tell you this, though. We had a good time. We had an opening and ending of the recordings of Dark Elevations, which you guys will catch the next episode on Monday on YouTube. Check that out on the AEW
That's
website.
actually tomorrow night, believe it or not.
That's right. It's coming out tomorrow night in today's recording. I'll be uploading this episode on a Monday because I got lazy with the recording this week, okay? Because it's my birthday. So there we go. So now we had a lot of good times. We got to see the great Thunder Rosa. We got to see Yuka
Sakazaki.
That's right, but what did we call her? Oh,
Yuka Frita.
Yuka Frita. God, you gotta love Miami.
It's a Miami thing for those of you who don't live down here.
And if you guys also want to know, we got caught in camera, both in a YouTube special where, Dasha Gonzalez did an interview with the Miami crowd, and we got to see the Acclaim doing their dance. You guys get to see me as well, holding my sign, looking like a mark. And of course, you got to have me and Moses being caught on camera during the fan attack when, after we got to sing the Jericho song, I actually got to see my first fan attack ever, as well as Moses. And I had to tell Moses in the ear that was a fan attack, and his eyes caught surprise on the
I was
camera.
caught surprised by that fan attack. I didn't even know that was happening. Like, what the fuck's going on? And then Kevin was telling me, yo, there's a fan trying to interfere. Like, oh shit.
And then MJF cutting off the kayfabe says, beat him up," supporting Chris Jericho doing this live. That's what a great way to start, isn't it, guys?
Oh yes, it is.
It is a total Miami thing. I'm surprised you didn't see our, shop owner David there. Mr. DW Gaming in the front row.
Did he
Yeah,
attend?
he was there.
He was bragging about going to the show.
He was there. He was in front row. You could see him on the TV. Seen him multiple times.
I didn't see him actually because I didn't know if he was going to attend or not because he told me the other day that his refrigerator broke. So I didn't know if he was going to attend.
No, he was there. He got there at 4. He was there early.
Oh no, yeah, we left my house like around 4. We had to call a lift and head all the way downtown. We met up a lot of good wrestlers. We both got to meet Jake Hager too. We got like a picture with him, and he was a pretty nice guy.
I saw that picture. I saw that.
That was
Jack Swagger, our American hero, for all the memes out there.
Oh, of course. We the People and everything. I do like his work in AEW more than he did in WWE because they did make him look like a joke.
They try to make him Kurt Angle Jr., which never happened.
No, thank God.
No, but in AEW, they're trying to let him be more of himself, which is a good thing.
Which we'll see if Malachi Black will be himself in AEW.
Well, we mentioned that.
That debut on Wednesday night was honestly like my favorite moment of the entire show.
So the funny thing about this, let me tell you the difference of how when the lights went out. So during the Cody Rhodes versus QT Marshall strap match, there was a light out. We already thought it was a botch or something because they even said as I rewatched the episode later on that JR said, "Oh, we were having technical difficulties earlier," which they kind of did. But the funny thing was because our seats were like really right next to the face tunnel. On the section of the camera, we actually got to see Aleister Black ran through in the darkness into the ring. But it's a funny thing because when I went to the TNA episode when they're going to have Willow, Jeff Hardy and his character that he wore back in the indie days on Omega during the 90s, my friend at the time, Alfredo, he saw Jeff Hardy came out on the backside in the area during the University of Miami. But the thing was, I couldn't legit see shit because it was super dark. I really couldn't see. I couldn't even see my own hand. I heard his voice, but I didn't hear it. I didn't see him, and I couldn't even see the cage. And when the lights came out, I was like, "Oh, there he is!" But when I saw Aleister Black, aka Tommy Ann, that's who he's gonna go, or Malachi Black, if you guys want to go, I'll just call him Tommy. That's what he was going to the Independence. I saw Tommy just ran through the gate, and then he ran to the ring. He was on the side, going this position, and on the TV you couldn't see the darkness. The lights went on, and the fucking crowd popped out when someone yelled Aleister Black, and I was like, no way. And I'm like, oh my god, it's Aleister Black! And
Tommy N!
And then we fucking chant, holy shits, Tommy, all of that. I didn't even see the Bruce thing until I saw the pictures and posts on Facebook, and it was to die for, guys. I mean, that was huge. That was big. So now we're going to see Tommy Ann facing Cody Rhodes as a new rival, thank God. Right now he's under the no fighting clause at this moment, as if you leave a company, you cannot wrestle a certain amount of time after your contract's expired to work with another organization until your clause comes to an end.
Well, I mean, he's smart though. He's smart though, because WWE's kind of dumb. They didn't renew his and made it a 90-day. He had a 30-day and he left. That was smart out there for the people.
I mean, not only that, they let him go.
I'm pretty sure someone got fired for that.
Well, he did.
No, but not only that, he got let go along with Braun Strowman, and now because of that, like Tommy Ann even mentioned it on his Twitch saying, "I got no regrets, I got nothing wrong, I'm thankful for the company." He's being respectful. He's not gonna be like Miro talking shit. He's not gonna be like.
But here's the thing, though. It opens the door for anybody else in NXT that's like, oh, hey, I want to make the jump to AEW. And they was like, oh, I only got 30 days. I have to wait a month versus the 90-day.
Mm-hmm.
So you could see somebody like Adam Cole from NXT that his wife is in AEW, and he could jump ship.
Well, he probably
I
won't because he's gonna probably they're gonna start now billing him in to come to the WWE's roster as SmackDown, I believe. So they're gonna push him already to the main roster.
maybe, but I mean, where's Keith Lee at?
Oh, Keith Lee's gone, disappeared,
He's disappeared.
but he's
I don't
not
know.
out of the company. He's just disappeared. But they are gonna do more firings in the organization at the moment, so he may be the next guy to be released, which is pretty sad
You know,
because he has a lot of potential.
I mean, I was hearing Braun Strowman is going to be the next AEW member. As Mark Henry, their talent relations loves him and got him in WWE. Now he's working there, so
There was a message
To
that
be honest, I don't know how I feel about Braun Strowman joining AEW. I feel like he would be out of place if he joins.
Well, I heard now Wardlow made a comment saying he doesn't want Braun Strowman to come to AEW.
well, I mean, it'll be interesting because like Mark Henry's pushing for it because I've heard him interviewed saying that he was most definitely would want that. So
Well, not
you know,
him, like
I
he's also trained by the Big Show as well, so that's why he got into better shape as he is today.
that's true too.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be interesting. I mean, this show was packed in there. Just looking at pictures and the venue itself.
The problem with I'll say this though, because they did have to arrange the seats and we were finding our seats. There was a couple bad. I'll say there was a couple of negatives in the show. I can say in a fan's part. So okay, first things first. One thing I'll say what was kind of sad, they didn't have a merch table. You had to go online on your phone to AEW merch in a store in a show in the I'm sorry, I'm a little bit. So you go online on your phone. You gotta go to the site, and they basically have you go to the merch shop on your phone for where the event is taking place. And when you do, you gotta buy the certain items they have, and then you gotta pick it up at the table. To me, that's pretty stupid because why would you want that instead of actually having all your merch, have people line up, buy out the merch, and that way you sell out for the night? You could, and then whatever lets other people buy it or not. But why would you ever just set it up? That's the stupidest things ever. To me, that's to a fan's point of view, that's actually the worst thing they did. This isn't a retail shop for curbside, guys. You come to the show, you find what you're looking for, and if you want to buy it, you buy it. That's it. I don't care how much it was. I had the money to buy it. Moses had the money to buy it. I need to even buy one of the shirt for my brother for his birthday that I owe him. But because of that, I couldn't, and I didn't want to take out my debit card or anything to buy out to have people see my number so I can go buy it or lose my card that show. I'm not gonna do that. That's so stupid.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like for future shows, like they need to do a better job with that, especially placing merchandise out on the
That
floor so people can actually buy it.
I mean, COVID is probably why that happened.
It doesn't matter because you're still
I
doing
mean,
sales, so and you're gonna
you
make
can't really
wrestlers come
blame
in with no
COVID
mask, so who
as much
cares?
as this point because people are already going back to the shows, to the arenas. People want
Yeah,
to buy merchandise. I was one of those people that wanted to buy a T-shirt at the show, but
Same thing, and
I
a hat
couldn't.
too.
that would going that. Of course, you would want the experience, right? Like that's part of the experience, no doubt. I agree on
Mm-hmm.
that.
Exactly.
That's like saying you go into a music concert and whoever you're seeing, you want their shirt because those shirts are different than the ones you buy at Hot Topic or online, right?
But guess what? The shirts are not there because fuck you. That's why.
They didn't. Yeah, they sold out everything.
No way.
They sold out at the end of the event. I even asked the guy, "You have anything? If we could buy it from on the table?" He says, "No, you gotta order online." I'm not gonna do that. That's kind of a waste of my time. Another bad thing I'll tell you this, guys. The seats that we have, because they're not like the seats where the rows go a little bit higher and higher depending on the rows you're coming in. The seats, because it was a theater and the Gmail Center, basically they just have these folding chairs that are like attached to each other, but it's like a tight space. Even walking through them was really hard getting through. And the sad part is, I had to have slip between Moses and another guy. He was a nice guy. I'm not gonna get him wrong, but he was a very large man. He even apologized saying that it's all cool. It's just sometimes it's a little tight because my legs were been tight, and I couldn't be able to move much. I couldn't
Did
stretch
you
my
did you have to
legs.
wear your mask inside?
It's
That was
it's
one thing.
it was optional. They didn't say it.
No,
It's
you don't have to wear your mask. I did it just for safety precautions.
Yeah,
Well,
I
in the state of Florida, yeah, there's no mandates, but the only people that are allowed to are people that are vaccinated, though.
No, but they actually didn't check if you were vaccinated or not.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's illegal to. That's why you can't just be like, hey, do you have a card? That's illegal, unfortunately. It's the dumbest thing.
I just didn't get that anyway. It's just kind of stupid. I guess because like
That's
people
what.
make cards. I get that, but it's like, but that's like saying the same thing with an ID. It's like, oh, is this your ID? I was like, yeah, it's my ID. It's illegal to show your ID. I'm like, what?
Because like at all the NBA playoff games, people are next to each other without masks and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, that's wild. But there hasn't been any COVID outbreaks or anything like that.
Well, right
So
now, yeah, because right now the problem with the COVID right now is because now with the viruses that have being spread even worse. So now I'm getting informed by my brother. If you don't get your second vaccine as soon as possible, guys, this new virus is actually going to spread out and actually legit kill you worse than the COVID. And it's now an issue. And I'm not saying it's mandatory. I'm just saying do it because it's for the safety of your cause. I know it's not the best. I know the side effects by the second shot kill you, depending on getting the Pfizer or the Moderna, or even if you are sick with diabetes, cancer.
Here on the podcast, we totally recommend if you're going to do it because it's your choice. We recommend the Moderna shot here. Just saying.
Yes.
2 seconds of our time.
But if you're like this, because I will have to talk about this, my father came the other day, and as a cancer patient as he is, unfortunately he took his second shot and he was very ill. His arms were really skinny. He was really looking bad. I was a little worried, and it really worries out. So if you are a cancer patient, even if you are no longer have the cancer, but you still can be still taking side effects or depending on whatever you have, please be cautious, please be careful, please go see your actual chemotherapy doctors and everything anywhere you go that's for your cancers. And if you take the shots, make sure that the shots are being recognized, see how they feel, and be notified anything before you do take your shots, because the Pfizer does take a side effect in the second shot, and we know the Moderna is not as bad, but you also got to be extra precautious too. And I'm just giving everyone a heads up, to your friends, family, to a stranger or coworker, anybody.
We're giving our honest feedback here. We can vouch for this, that this is how we really feel, and so it's everybody's choice at the end of the day, and you just have to make the best decisions you can, guys.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And if you do decide to go out in public, but you're not vaccinated, bring a mask. Don't be one of those Karens. They're like, oh no, I don't want to wear a mask. It's my right.
And wear it right too.
Yes.
Yeah, please do.
There were people at the event. They were wearing masks, but they didn't cover their nose. Which is like, why the hell are you even wearing this in the first place?
Yeah. Hey, Noel's one of those people not vaccinated, anti-mask. Like, it's my right. Funny you should mention that. Just throwing that out there.
I think it's worse with the mouth and the nose. Because sometimes some people just are having a hard time breathing with the mask since they're not used to it.
I mean, I played so many tournaments of like Dragon Ball and Digimon with masks during this COVID thing. It is hard to breathe, and especially when those games get intense where you're really thinking. And my high blood pressure was high at that time, like in the 130s to like low 150s. And so it was really hard. Like I could feel my blood pressure going up, and I could feel like I'm not breathing because of this mask. It was awful. So I can't wait till this virus is gone and we can go back to a better normal. I'm not going to say it's back to the old normal or new normal.
There is no normal. We're going back to basically being dicks and lovable characters.
Yeah,
it's just a new.
It's not a pandemic, guys. It's an endemic. Never going away. Ever.
We won't know. We will never know. Maybe one day we will find the cure. We're not saying that. So people remember, this is a vaccine, not a cure. Because remember, you're getting vaccinated for flu shots, you're getting vaccinated for blood tests, you're getting vaccinated for your little COVID, but it's not 100% a cure.
I'm saying it's been here since the 70s. Like that's why it's the COVID-19 strain. It's been around for like 50 years. Like it's never going away. It's just the public awareness of it. It's always been around. It's not.
I mean, we also had SARS in early 2010s.
Yeah, SARS was a strain of COVID. I had SARS.
So hey, you don't need to get vaccinated. You're already immune, Cam.
Yeah, I
There you
already
go.
almost died from it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that was worse than this. That killed people.
Yeah.
Actually.
No, I never passed algebra in school because I spent the whole year out of school.
Damn.
Did you? So now, knowing what we know now, would you go get X-rays and stuff, and like get some like brain scans, because they say that your throat and your brain are affected if you have COVID. So knowing what you know now, would you go do that and see, hey, this is where I'm at and stuff like that, get an analysis?
What you
I
want,
mean,
what you really, really want.
I'm gonna be maybe it's, I don't know if it's anything related to the COVID. I don't think I don't know what exactly it is, but I'm damn near the fucking Wolverine, man. Like if I get sick, I'm over it instantly. I rarely get sick. If I get sick, I'm over it instantly. If I get cut, anything breaks, anything sprains, like I'm feeling a little bit because I'm getting older, but outside
Yeah.
of that, like I just don't get hurt like that. And I'm just blessed with that trait or whatever you want to call it. But
I'm similar to you, and I knock on wood every day for that.
bro, I mean I get it, like for me, I ain't gonna tell. I literally have no opinion or comment to like you want to do this, you want to do that, like you know what I mean. Like I'll put it my only opinion and comment when it comes to the whole COVID thing, and not to say you shouldn't have concern or awareness of your health or like what's going on and what's out there, but like the whole situation really became what it was as far as a public conversation and like people taking action on this, that, and the third. It was just politics. That's all it was. Like I'm not saying that anybody's right or wrong or what the right politics are or aren't, but it really just became the talking point, and that's you know what I mean. So I'm not that type of person. Like you should do this, you should do that, because I don't know what's right for you. So
Mm-hmm.
that's like I got my own blessings and my own what works for me. My own things that I see and believe, but because honestly, my thing is, I think people, you need to take a dookie and not wash your hands every now and again. You know, go a couple days without a shower. Because like people, the sickest people I see for real are the people who are always in the hand sanitizer.
Hey man, let me tell you, anybody that I know that got COVID are the ones that are the dirty. I will tell you that right now. In my experience, at least in
Right, and
Miami.
it's all anecdotal. It's what you see in life, but I mean, I feel like 1,000%. Like, I mean, there's a lot of things to it. The human biome and like the way that your body takes to bacterium and viral influence and like your adjustment. That's why gut health is so important, because it's the way that your gut is a biome of bacteria. So like, how is your gut getting along with the bacteria that's inside of you, right? Because you're damn near as much bacterial matter as you are flesh. So like it's there's that's why they tell you always talk to your doctor, because it's going to be what's comfortable for you. So
I'm gonna love promoting this week's episode. Let me tell you right now.
Exactly.
I have no godly idea what I'm gonna say.
Exactly.
But anyway, so going back to AEW,
So yeah,
if
the show was pretty good. We got to the main show, saw everything. Um, Yeah, pretty much. We got to see all the great wrestlers. Kenny Omega. I brought a sign for him based on the Jim Cornette podcast. You guys should check him out. If you're, I mean, we all know he's sometimes he be quote unquote a little racy, old school. You have to remember this guy's from the old days, but this is what his style. But there are times it can be funny, and if he does go far, I understand that. But I recommend listening to it because Jim Cornette's a guy who knows all the information of professional wrestling as for years. He's not some guy who's gonna sugarcoat and shit on. He's always gonna be on the ball telling the truth, even though you don't like hearing it. It's all negative. He knows what he's talking about because he learned the experiences and he has the mad respect from old school wrestlers. And from his point of view, he does have a little beef with the elite, the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega, because of what's going on. I mean, all his episodes and lately have been talking about the All Elite Wrestling, which is something he shared
so
with
is
us.
that like a real, or is it like part of the show, like the beef and all that? Is
No,
that
that's
like
real. No, it's real because
No.
he all his stuff is legit real. They've been on Twitter
so?
words for
Like, are
long.
those guys So let me ask you this: did you get a chance to interact with them, like on any, like did you run into them like out and about, or did you
Sadly,
go out that night
no.
or anything? Or
Sadly,
We could, unfortunately.
we didn't, but there were fans who got a chance to meet them because at least they, even when they're heels, they still get to interact with the fans. That's how cool they are.
Yeah,
oh,
they don't care if
okay,
they're baby faces or
you're
heels. They'll
right. They
still
don't they
interact
don't
with
they don't
fans.
do that in WWE, do they? They don't let the heels interact with the fans, do they?
No, no,
No, they don't.
no.
Sadly.
They only do that in one of those house show events or when it comes like WrestleMania tours or the weekend things from their big main pay-per-views. But they're not gonna do that, and it's kind of sad.
Yeah, but when I went to WrestleMania
What's
33 a few years ago, they still didn't let the heels interact with the fans.
that's got to make it really suck, like touring and you can't even like talk to your fans, or you're pretty much isolated to just
Well, because the thing is with wrestling, I don't know if you guys heard of this term called kayfabe. The WWE is
yeah
still trying to protect that
yeah
because they
I
want people to, cheer, who are the fan favorites and boo,
right, they got to protect
the
the
bad
I
guys.
mean, this.
there's a difference, like when you're up, when you're you look at it differently. You look at it differently when you're
I mean, the thing is, it's not like when it was 1987, and kayfabe was still kayfabe at the time, where until one day during a drive-by, an officer pulled up a car, and there he sees babyface Hacksaw Jim Duggan and heel Iron Sheik inside the same car and getting caught with narcotics, which ended up breaking the kayfabe of professional wrestling forever, not nullifying everyone saying that wrestling is fake, which is a word I don't like to use with wrestling because we get that the idea people keep saying that word, but to me I just like don't like saying that sentence because I like to enjoy the wrestling even though I know what's gonna happen or what's going on. I still enjoy it. Like the matches are real, the injuries are real. They put their bodies on the line, the torture and they're an emotional wreck. It's real. It's not something because this shit is 24/7. I mean, look what happened. Look what's going on in WWE. Look how many injuries they had. Look how much exhaustion all those wrestlers had to go through. And look how much stories they had to tell what's going on backstage. You think it's all fake. No, it's not. It ain't a play. It's shit that's happening. This is what they sacrifice everything for just for our entertainment, for our amusement, for our cheers and boos, and all our money spent just to watch them do what they're supposed to do. That's their job. That's something they've been dying to do. Yeah, it's not like it was like the amateur days in wrestling, but still, this is what those wrestlers having to do back in the day. Ask Ric Flair. You can ask Bret Hart. You can ask Steve Austin. You can ask even Taker, whoever. You ask them, and you understand that everything they went through is really strive. Like The Rock himself, even though he's no longer he did wrestling a long time, which he got lucky because he only wrestled for a few years, from 1997 to 2003, and then he came back wrestling 1 year in 2004, retired, came back in 2012 with Cena, then a year after with 13 he got injured. But it's not as worse. But the thing is, like, he knows what the wrestling world was like, and when he got started, he literally was just people didn't give a shit about him. They were getting tired of the babyface. This is during Boom Terry time. Well, NWO was kicking Raw's ass during the Monday Night Wars. Sting was Crow at the time, feuding with the NWO. At the time, we're building up with Steve Austin's character. Bret Hart was now turning heel. Shawn Michaels is showing his true colors as a douche. And everything was changing up in that time. Wrestling is a very difficult time compared to what we have today. And it didn't matter if it was during the late 90s, because even people in the early 90s or the 80s were still striving to be the best. And if you check out every story in wrestling, it's very interesting. It's very creative. It's like an art. I can't even forget the time when Roddy Piper went to a show with Medusa, aka Alundra Blaze, Sting, and the late Bobby Heenan. And I believe it's that show. I forgot the guy's name, but to get to the point, he was on the show, and the guy who was asking the questions like, "Oh, the wrestling's fake." Sting replies, "Well, we get the chair shots are real fake." Roddy Piper has more balls to say is a shoot what it is because he's wrestled since the 70s and wrestled still all the way to the 90s or 2000s. And he goes out to the story. He puts his pants down for a bit and shows on his leg, on right around his leg, his hip surgery. It mentions a broken wrist, and this is the year 1999, so you know where I'm getting with the next one. Owen Hart's death, saying that's real. Or is that fake? No. Because everything that happens to wrestling, many people make sacrifices for it. Even the guys on AEW are making a huge sacrifice. They knew this pandemic thing was messed up, but they still had to keep going when all this shit was happening. And when their guys were catching COVID or anything, they just told them, stay home, we'll recuperate, we'll change it up a bit. It's not that easy. And it sucks, especially when you're a champion, too. Because then you have a lot of issues and you don't know what's going to happen. It could affect you, it could affect them, it could affect everything. And whatever happens in the wrestling world, it's a very difficult time, And I have mad respect for these guys. Even though I don't like some of the guys because they're big dickheads. If they still make those sacrifices, I still have respect for them.
True that.
And that's why I enjoy wrestling. I enjoy wrestling, and I do thank my brother because he's the one reason I got into wrestling. I know Moses, he probably got into wrestling. Maybe was it with his brother at the time?
Yeah, it was actually because of my brother I got into wrestling.
And, we grew up enjoying all the hard work and dedication. And I'll tell you this, I'm proud to be in that show, too. It was a great time. This was literally, I have to say, out of all the shows I did, I didn't think AEW's Miami show was as good, but I'm decided it was literally the best show. I had a hell of a time. Moses had a hell of a time. I met great people. I took pictures with a couple fans, too. I got to be in YouTube and their AEW show, and that's something I never thought I could ever do. And best part was I got to meet and greet a couple fans. I even got to meet the great Andrade El Idolo before he left. And yes, folks, Charlotte Flair was 100% at the show.
But we were not allowed to record her in any way, shape, or form.
But I got to see Andrade at the valet section because the St. Joe Center is right next to the hotel, which is in between. And I got to see him. I saw Charlotte Flair there. And I got the bump that said, hey, great job. And I had my Ghost of Wrestling sign where it had Jericho, Malenko, Benoit, Guerrero. And my sign did come on TV, so you guys see that. Check it out. And, yeah, he got to see the sign. He was happy, ecstatic. Even though if you were not, I'll take it because telling him that you're the next GOAT shows that he's gained fans' respect. And he did a hell of a job with his match with Matt Sydal. Both men did great work. Vicky Guerrero did her play. She did her play. I love how that's going to happen. Andrade is the next thing. So now Tommy and Andrade El Idolo, we wish you the best of luck because I know that both of you worked hard at NXT. The both of you worked hard in the WWE, and you guys are going to strive hard to be the next big champions, along with former NXT wrestler Pac. And I know that you three will be the next world champions in the company, and I can't wait to see your hard work coming through.
It kind of sucks though. Zelina Vega is not there in AEW to be with Andrade.
I was going to mention this. Speaking of, I was just waiting for that. But she's going to be Money in the Bank, bro. Come on.
I wonder why.
Yeah, no. I wouldn't be surprised if she wins it.
Yeah, just keep her happy and make sure she stays.
I'm sorry, I gotta say this, guy. She pulled a fucking Del Rio.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
You're right, in a sense.
They did it for the fucking money.
I mean, who wouldn't want WWE money? Let's also put it like
but
that.
Here's the thing. Okay, let me explain this right now. Okay, back when Del Rio left the first time in WWE, he left because of racial propaganda. When he left, he went to go to Lucha Underground, and then he came back later on. And I go, why the fuck are you back? You shouldn't be back. You had a standing point. I had a little respect for that. And then he talked shit, and then he had that issue, and he did no-show TNA, he no-show What Culture Pro Wrestling shows, he no-show, even in Lucha Underground at the time, he no-showed events. He was high on his tits, he was talking shit on Team Z to Triple H and Stephanie, he had horrible abusive relationship what he did to Paige. He's a dick. He's a douchebag. I don't like this guy. He's one of the worst things in the wrestling world. And it's a sad thing because he has talent. He had charisma. And he's a piece of shit. And I hear in rumors he might want to come back, even though he's a loudmouth motherfucker. And
I mean, he's never coming back after.
I hope to God he never shows up in any wrestling business ever again.
And then Zelina Vega, her point of view is that she got threatened by Vince McMahon, talking stuff. It was very sad until it was a weird part when she said that he invited Nia Jax over and asked Nia Jax to break her arm, which was a little shady. And now they were questioning things that she was going to come to AEW, she was going to do something, but they didn't. And they offered her money. I said, okay, when do you want me back in the company?
I mean, we saw Lana go through tables every week. and she's not there anymore.
I'm
Was that
glad.
because of Miro signing with AEW at that time?
No, because they did. It's just that they were not going to use her right. Miro had issues, and I'm glad she left. If Lana was smart enough to go with Miro, then do it. I don't care. Bring them back together. I don't care. But I don't want to see people get shit on and then come back for dirt money just to get shit on and then lose fans' respect.
Oh, well, we have the other point. Is while you make a ton of money and you're a jobber, aka Dolph Ziggler, like he makes like the third or fourth best money in that company, but they're never pushing him ever, unfortunately. And he's a great worker, and he's gonna make a lot of money for being a good worker and a jobber. At the end of the
he
day.
lost his push because of one concussion that he had.
Ironic, it was from Swagger, but I'm not. But even though Swagger made the mistake, he may have apologized. The blame for this one was Paul Levesque, Triple H, because he never pushed Dolph Ziggler back, and both Ziggler and Triple H don't have a good relationship at the moment.
I mean, yeah. I mean, he's gonna make a shit ton of money. Oh, I didn't want to curse, but whatever. He's gonna make a ton of money, and yeah, he's. I mean, he goes out with the Miz. He does his thing. You know, I don't like his gimmick where it is right now.
Yeah, I do apologize. Yeah, I do apologize for the cussing, guys. But this, when it comes to wrestling, I take this literal.
You know, so like, I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. I believe the wars between the two companies will get better.
Yeah. Cameron, I know you haven't talked much. What are your honest opinions on the whole situation so far?
Man, I didn't see the show and I wasn't at the show. My opinion is, I hope that the beer wasn't too expensive.
We didn't buy beer.
What?
It probably was expensive. We're in Miami.
It's a hotel. They're
not only that, all these sporting events or wrestling shows, they do charge a shit ton of money for food and drink.
Yeah,
I heard the food. I heard the food prices were outrageous.
They had nachos,
that means
hot dogs.
You want to pay $9 for a hot dog?
Imagine you're paying
no.
Well, can you imagine you're paying $10 for a bottle of Dasini water?
I went to a Hurricanes game.
I can buy a pack of 8 hot dogs for like $4.35 at Publix.
I went to a Hurricanes game before COVID. A friend took me. It was a game against I forget who. It wasn't even a ranked team. It's like a whatever team. I spent $17 on a single hamburger or cheeseburger. No, I think whatever it was, a burger at the time, and that was without. What was that? I think it came with fries and no drink, or just a burger alone. I forget, but I'm like, wow.
But that just proves my point right there.
You know, I was just like, man. I mean, I get it. You know, I wasn't leaving anytime soon, and my buddy wanted to see the whole game. So I was like, oh, well, I guess I'm stuck paying the whole fee.
You got bodied.
C. Correct.
Body slammed.
Hey, Kevin, so if you're having this episode, I got to have an episode talking about all the good metal shows coming up since, you know, COVID's gone and, you know, we're having a lot of music festivals and all that soon. It'd only be fair, you know. You know.
I mean, you know, he's gonna get you, man. You got to deal with him.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever Kevin decides.
Yeah, we'll see. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting.
I don't get it. Why the hell do we gotta talk about music shows?
Because I am just as passionate for metalcore as you are wrestling.
Yeah, but most of these guys like listen to like watch the wrestling themselves. They never like mention much about the music when they play card games.
Well, this is also true, but you got, you know, CM Punk, you got Seth Rollins, you got people that like the type of music.
Yeah, but then like it's not like you got Matt Music Man from the '90s during the new gen, or
hey, listen, Kev, we're gonna do the marriage counseling thing. Okay, you got to respect your partner.
I'm sorry, but I refuse to talk about music core in my TCG party podcast.
You see,
he's trying to be original.
Come on. He's got a new little thing going on. How he's been acting. I bet you we check that inbox just a little loud.
It's not my fault that the Cucamonga kids go out there with Pathés and Baldenbuck and doing their little struts in their little Jimmy jean shorts, having an exquisite Street Fight Tag Team title match against Penta El Zero Miedo and Eddie Kingston. It was a excellent main event, folks. I know I've never been a fan of the Bucks lately because of their both Kenny Omega and Young Bucks heel shtick looks stupid
Oh,
as
I thought you was
hell.
talking about the Milwaukee Bucks for a second. I was like, man,
No, fuck the Milwaukee Bucks.
Milwaukee
Sorry
Bucks
for the
down to
cursing, but
0-2 and hopefully 0-3
no,
after
it's over.
tonight.
Yeah,
And, so.
yeah. I mean, I was talking to my homies the other night. I was like, what needs to happen is Giannis he's got to go on the LeBron arc, and he's gonna have to take his talents maybe to South Beach. Maybe
Hey,
he's
man,
getting
we
his talents to
wanted
South.
him. We
hey, I
wanted
wouldn't
him.
mind that.
But I don't. When I sit over here, I'm telling you, I cut the game on in the third quarter, right? I watched Lopez brick like
Oh,
five
you
Grizzlies.
watched him like walk at like a brick to the rim? Yeah,
No,
that
I'm
also
talking about
happened.
now, mind you, I've watched him be a good shooter, right? I've watched
Yeah.
him with like 4 steps in each direction, wide open, corner three, brick like 4 back-to-back threes. I'm like, I see why they 4 steps away. They ain't worried about you. They like, come on, man. You in the NBA, you can't miss those. Come on, man. I'm like, that's the point differential right there. Is 12. You've made
I,
them be good.
I
You
mean,
made half of them.
speaking of the NBA, Team USA lost to Nigeria last night in the Olympic Games. That was also kind of
Well,
they they
none of our
they
pro athletes.
they literally lost to the Miami Heat's worst players last night.
Oh, I forgot to mention, hey, because one of these things, the funny thing about the show, before they're on the commercial, they get some of these guys talking on mic. They were talking a lot. MGF really got the crowd rowdy when he shit on the Miami Heat. The fuck.
Oh yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
actually posted the video of MJF cutting the promo during the commercial break.
I agree with MJF because I don't really care for the Miami Heat. Yeah,
Oh,
I said it. I don't care.
Well, he also talked trash about the city of Miami in general.
I agree with that too.
that's funny. That's
I
funny.
mean, there is some truth to MJF's promo. I'm not gonna lie.
Because heels talk more truth than faces.
But let me tell you guys something. He's like one of the best heels we have right now in the wrestling industry. Like,
He
the
I
is.
dude
mean,
can literally make you hate his guts.
I.
I have Miami comments of my own.
To me, he reminds me of Bobby Heenan mixed with 90s Shawn Michaels, like early 90s when he was getting started as the Heartbreak Kid guy, when he had like a
Yeah,
diesel.
he has like that Shawn Michaels attitude from the 90s.
Like
So
you
here's the
meant to
thing.
hate him, but you
Since
love
you
hating him.
bringing up
That's
Shawn Michaels,
yeah.
so I was just thinking about this. No, because I try not to fake the funk, right? I'm like, okay, I grew up in a certain era. That's when wrestling was for me. I tune into.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna act like a different era isn't my era. Same with TV shows, anime, all that. I'm not gonna act like I'm part of something that ain't my generation. No. Is it just like us growing up during a certain era? That's like, okay, 80s, 90s, that was where it was at, right? Is that just an opinion based on like nostalgia, or do you feel like there's some technical objective, what I mean, like your critique from like still being in it? Do you feel like there's a lot of points where wrestling's better today, or like what do you think about that?
Personally, many people have always said that the wrestlings during the 70s and 80s were the high point and the peak of actual amateur pro wrestling, where then it wasn't all about the colors, the costumes, the gimmicks, all that stuff. It was just basically the wrestlers giving out their shows, showing their actual mic work, their skills in the ring, their chances of becoming of champions. Especially during the times when Vince McMahon Sr. and Jr. working of the main companies during the Jim Crockett promotions and the AWAs and other national territories where wrestling was like a huge
So
separate
do you think
territory.
that it was the 70s then?
That was in the 70s. But thanks to Vince McMahon Jr., who got the company after his father passed away during 1983, it became a huge chain game, getting rid of all the promotions and only had basically Jim Crockett Jr.'s promotion, the NWA, while facing up north the WWF, which used to be with the WWF at the time. And now you had the big stars during the time and change it around when later on we switched it up from Bob Backlund now to Hulk Hogan, now being the face of the company. And during the time we have Ric Flair, and we have all these other big stars coming in later on. Like the late 80s, yeah, it had its own turning point style, but it was still big during the time, and it was still big and huge, especially when you had WrestleMania coming out. Then you also had Starrcade, and you had all these rivals, these battles for the pay-per-views, for the viewerships, for the merchandise sales, and to see how the bigger stars are going to stay in this promotion or that promotion. And then by the time the 90s hit, it was coming to a change point where both companies were kind of striving, and the booking was getting kind of weird, kiddish, friendly, and everything. I still feel like a little bit more that WCW had more at the time. It's more standards of wrestling, even though they had bad bookers like Jim Herd and Bill Watts. And the WWF during the time Hogan left the company, and then he later on would move to WCW, which was a problem. So they focused a lot with Brett, but the New Jam was more kiddish friendly, and they were doing poorly with their pay-per-view sales. But until late '94, when they gave the belt to Diesel, that became like a fucking mess. With that Hogan running with the
Do you think it was more kid friendly in the 90s?
yeah, it was. It
Oh,
only
it definitely was.
It's only until when the NWO made its debut, on the day of my birthday, by the way, July 7th, 1986, 25th anniversary, it's when that changed around, it started to change a point because ever since Scott Hall's change coming to the WCW during the Monday Night Wars, a huge landscape of wrestling was changing little by little, and people were getting ecstatic that the bad guys were finally getting more noticeable than the faces, because people were getting tired of the baby faces wins. They're tired about the kid friendlies. Like wrestling was now being more mature from like amateur styles into like to kiddie promotions where like, well, we want the good guys to win, but they're getting sick of it now. They're seeing bad guys taking over, and the whole grunge world, the whole change of lookups, the music, everything was changing in the
I mean,
industry.
I think that was the 90s in general, kind of. Like, we talked about that before. We were talking about how, like, superheroes and all that were, like, more edgier,
I mean, that's the thing
during the
because
90s.
Vince McMahon he was always into superheroes. That's why all his shows became kid friendly. But thanks to WCW and competition, which Vince McMahon needs to realize this, because without competition, his products would never got better and his shows wouldn't have been more successful. Because
Yeah.
he thinks competition is nothing. Because you see, without competition,
Because
his shows wouldn't have been, like I said, what it is
I
today.
want to, I guess, throw this out there. Because I guess the best way to explain my feelings around, like, the grunge of, like, turning superheroes in, like, the 90s is you gotta remember the 90s got kicked off with the death of Superman. When the 90s first started, they killed Superman.
In the comics, right?
Right, yeah, it was the death and return of Superman was like the first, like, you know, wave of the 90s. That was coming off of the mid 80s, right, when Superman went dark with the basis of the Dark Knight, right, where Batman kicked Superman's ass. So like it was a whole wave of like, art in that time was like, you can be a good, it was the anti-hero era, really, is like kind of.
Exactly, yeah. And I know everything in cartoons was edgy. X-Men, Spider-Man, Batman.
Yeah.
Like even when the classic Ninja Turtles had their shows going edgier because of the Batman series,
Yeah.
but it didn't work that way. But even so, it was like everything was changing up to a turning point when we came to the 90s. The 90s was a grunge year, and it was changing up so much. And then later on by the late 90s, by around the times like late 97 and everything, it was all about Steve Austin, and then The Rock was turning his character around so he could finally become like a proper heel, and he was getting the way he was talking on the mic. Triple H was running DX after Shawn left with injury, and Taker was always getting more darker and darker, but his character always developed more than he can. And then WCW focused a lot with their cruiserweights. They focused a lot with their rivals and certain with wrestlers and everything, NWO. And then it became to a focal point during the 2000s that things were starting to now become really different in the wrestling world.
Yeah. But I
And
mean, do you think that so when you say different though,
like
do
the
you
booking,
feel,
the storylines, like everything can happen. Like even like when the death of Owen Hart took place, the wrestling world turned upside down forever, and it was really a downfall for every promotion.
Okay. So you feel like they were trying to play it safer
Some
after
say they
that?
played safer, but the WWF still kept going on with their
But
things, and it got a lot of negative feedback with, with Owen's family and everything. And
so I
WCW
guess
was also
the
going through
question is, though, do you think that playing it safer, like overall that path that it's gone down, do you think that that place that okay, so we'll say that pre Owen Hart and like say 5 years after, right? We could say, they call it the Attitude Era, but say that whole, like, would you say that the post Owen Hart era, like say 5 years after that, is, would you say that overall they've learned from certain things and improved, or do you think that those risks that they took back then made it a better production?
well, to be honest, in a way, yes, they have been safe. They didn't. They try to limit as much as they can, but at the same time, they really haven't. Because let's say if it's 5 years after Owen's death, it's the year 2004. This is also before the Benoit tragedy and everything. Everything in the Ruthless Aggression had a little turning point. We still had our hardcore matches. We still had ladder matches. We still had people fucking diving their bodies up and injuries were taking place. At the time, I wouldn't say it would have been the safe, but but they stopped doing the whole matter of doing crazy entertainment and try to prove themselves to be better wrestlers like they were back in the 80s, where they could show how that they could be the next top star, be the next Hulk Hogan, be the next Macho Man. But, they weren't taking it still safe. I mean, the writing itself was still taking it a little bit more too much. If you want me, for example, let's take a look back in 2003. And Vince
Yeah.
McMahon having his match with his daughter Stephanie was a match that I felt really uncomfortable watching because this was a weird ass booking. This was just very disturbing, and this was very disrespectful in a way. Even Vince McMahon should know not to go this far. And
I mean,
I
shoot, man. Like, honestly, so let me ask you this: do you think it's even worth comparing the two, like all the different eras against each other? Do you think it even makes sense to compare
there's a couple times they've been comparing. They just basically do the same thing over and over because they're out of ideas and everything. But yes and no. Like ruthless aggression and attitude can be a little bit similar, but it isn't really the same because attitude is more like I just want to do something stupid just to become a number one guy. While there's aggression, you're trying to show your actual in-ring talents to make yourself be the next top wrestler. And it's very difficult. You could find wrestlers like that who became like the Brock Lesnar's, the Kurt Angles, the Eddie Guerreros, the Chris Benoit's. You're never going to find wrestlers like that ever in the wrestling world again. Even though you strive to become as big and be the next top wrestler, you got your Andrades, your Daniel Bryans, your Kenny Omegas. You
Well,
got these
Brock
guys.
was kind of a controversial situation. I feel just based on the fact that um, I don't know. I guess personally, I from having some technical understanding, right? Like I kind of like I see it as he obviously had martial arts talent, right? He had a successful UFC career, right? But which is it's crazy. But I think that the interesting thing about him is that despite like the talent that he was basically their Goldberg, right? He's involved in a lot of squash, and I think a lot of people have an opinion of him being poor at talent wise, based on I don't know if they were trying to play it safe or what was the justification for using him in that way when he was so talented. Because
This
he
is
was kind of a squash artist, wouldn't you agree?
Brock Lesnar, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he hasn't been the same. Like when he returned back in 2012 in Miami, I expected to actually see the Brock Lesnar that we used to watch when he was a rookie 10 years prior, when he was like being the top star. He had Paul Heyman. He wrestled in technical wrestling. Who wrestled in OVW, former NCAA champion, who had great rivals with Kurt Angle, who had a great final match with Eddie Guerrero before he left the company after his match with Goldberg at Mania 20. He had a lot of potential, but then like UFC and working in the the Vikings in the NFL was kind of like a little different, and he tried to take a break from wrestling because it did took a lot out of him with the touring and the injuries. And his strive of basically jobbing people out was kind of getting annoying because nowadays all he does now is just F5s, suplexes, which not even like as good because all he does is like go of the suplex and doesn't do like the Angle Benoit style. And he just does that Komodo locks. He does the punch out with the elbows. Acts like a UFC fighter. But in comparison to like Ronda Rousey, who even though is a legit UFC fighter coming to the WWE, her wrestling matches were never as bad because she actually learned how to not only she to use her UFC martial arts style, but she also learned to use wrestling maneuvers to make her not make her look like she was flat, stale for all the wrestlers. They actually got to do actual wrestling moves. Like you can always use a combination of that. You just gotta also remember this is a wrestling promotion. This isn't the mixed martial arts. This isn't UFC. This isn't just some underground battle in the cage thing. This is just something that wrestlers have to do. Even Ken Shamrock had to learn to wrestle, and he actually strived to be one of the better wrestlers that in the company had. You're never gonna find guys like him. You're not gonna find like the next Ken Shamrocks or the Dan Severns. You can find work.
I mean, from what I've seen in recent years, like I actually think, it's surprising. I don't know if it's surprising because I don't think I had like it's weird to see it coming from a different era because you didn't think that like the females would actually put in the effort because a lot of them, they just came out, showed their ass, and that's just kind of what they did, pull on each other's hair, show their ass a little bit. Trish was a good worker, but like now there's a lot. Like I feel like when I watch wrestling, the majority of the talent is on the female side.
Yeah, I think they were having the hardest time, especially during the Attitude Era, because they were not really taken seriously. They were just there for
Well,
tits and ass.
the only ones I think that took it seriously though, like for them taking it seriously was Trish and Lita a little bit. I think Lita's more about the acrobatics and the work, but she was a good worker. But I'm not, in my opinion, Trish was one of the most solid. Like her ring work, was up there with the best of them, to be honest.
There was also Molly Holly, Victoria, Jazz. These girls were actually really working hard.
That's true. That's true. I'm not to take anything, from them either. They were definitely like. But I definitely like. I guess it's good. I think that they went that route and started to push, and showcase the talent in a better way in the current gen. I'm not a big like. I don't really think in terms. I know some people get hung up on like equality and this, that, and third. Think about those types of issues. You know what I mean? But I don't know if it was an issue in that sense of like someone having a certain mindset about females in the business, but I definitely feel like they switched gears and, the whole product. I think it's made the product a lot better, just because like taking them seriously and like letting them really show their ring work. I think just on the whole, like whenever I watch, not to say I can even really, I don't follow, so I don't really have like a connection with the characters and the names like that. But just watching the ring work is like wow, these like on the technical level, I'm like, this is sometimes I feel like it's some of the best wrestling I've seen that a lot of these ladies are putting out.
I feel as though WWE has done a better job with their women wrestlers today, thanks to like the Four Horsewomen's and Paige and other wrestlers who basically strive to do the best with the better trainers that they had since like Bruce's aggression. Compared to like AEW's women's division, who needs a lot of work. Kenny Omega is one of the worst bookers for the women's division. That he needs to not do that. They need to have someone else that can help strive. And like they need their Finleys, because Finley was one of the reasons why the women's division is what it is today. And without him, you wouldn't have your Becky Lynch's winning the main event at WrestleMania. You wouldn't have your Asukas having the undefeated streak in NXT, and you wouldn't have Charlotte Flair
I
basically
mean,
being one of
Becky Lynch is crazy, G. I'm not gonna lie. Like she's talented. She might be one of the most talented I've seen since like I don't fucking know. She's up there with like Chris Jericho level. Like she's impressive.
She did get like one of the biggest pushes like for like any wrestler, like even including like men and women. Like as soon as like she turned heel against Charlotte, I believe it was like SummerSlam in 2018, like her career just skyrocketed from that point.
It was great.
Oh, I haven't even. I'm gonna be real. I haven't even seen. I'm mostly going off of before that. I mean, when I was watching her, I want to say 16, 17, somewhere in there, maybe even 15. That far back was when I had eyes on her. I mean, they like the character development wasn't really there, but like I'm like whatever they decide to do with her, I just knew right then and there. I'm like she's got talent. Like like instantly I was like, man, because I used to, I mean, I used to wrestle Greco-Roman, so like I see a lot of those skills in the ring and appreciate it. And I'm like, bro, when I was in school wrestling, like, because they had the crazy thing is they actually had us wrestle girls sometimes, and I'm like, bro, I wouldn't want to wrestle her. Like low key, she, like honestly, like for real, like she's sticky, dude. Like
What if she was the China at the time?
China, China, China was like, and that's one of the things I appreciate the gimmicks from the '90s a lot because China, it's hard to say. Like, I don't remember like any of her work like impressing me that much. But at the same time, like I really enjoyed her character. I'm not gonna say she's sloppy or she was poor. You know what I mean? But I can't say that like, oh, I saw her maneuvering out there and it like, she. It was weird because it's not like she didn't get down and dirty. It's not like she was like what was that chick's
Well,
name? She wasn't no Stacy Keebler. You know what I'm saying? Like she was out there actually working, but it didn't really stand out. You know what I mean?
I
But
I understand what you mean.
yeah,
Um, Honestly, I feel kind of bad about what's going with poor China passed away a few years back. But I actually think she was one of the best women wrestlers out there. I wouldn't say like, well, not best woman wrestler, but like one of the best women who went out there, got what she had to do. They were giving her a big push. You know, like if you guys don't know about this, because my brother told me, but there was a plan back around in 2000 where Vince McMahon told her, "Don't do the Playboy shoot. Please do not the Playboy shoot," because in his mind he was worried that she was going to do the same thing that Sable did, where Sable used the WWF just to get the Playboy, just to become a mainstream star, and basically take their money and left. Just like that's why she ended up being with Brock Lesnar. They just take our money and left. That's why I don't like them both. But China was offered, and I get this, guys, she was offered a WWF Championship belt. If she was going to be the next world champion in the company in 2000 when it was still peaking at this time. If she didn't do Playboy, and unfortunately, she chose Playboy, and that basically got her killed, and now she got hated by Vince McMahon. And later on, sadly, being revealed that Triple H cheated on her with Stephanie. She found out, talked to Vince, and Vince fired her on that spot.
There's a great interview with Triple H and Stephanie on the Howard Stern show relating to all that. It's funny you mentioned that.
What's sad is though is that when Roddy Piper's funeral came back in 2015, she was there with Trips and Steph, and she confronted them after the funeral ceremony. And Triple H was really not in the mood because it was going to be an uncomfortable scene during the Piper funeral, 1 year before her untimely death, and it was just uncomfortable. But China, unfortunately, her career went flopped after she left in 2001. She was the women's champion, but the belt disappeared during the Alliance and came back in the Survivor Series where Trish Stratus won her first women's title out of 7. In the meantime, China went to go work in Japan. She then sadly went to do, well, I don't like saying this.
Pornography.
Yeah, it's uncomfortable, but we had to say it. She did pornography. And she did make her one wrestling appearance for the final time
it's
when
great.
she went to TNA in 2011, teaming with Kurt Angle against Jeff Jarrett and Karen Angle, and won. And Jeff Jarrett, of course, never has a beef with China. He did the right thing, dropping the belt to China in 1999, making her the first woman to win the Intercontinental Champion 2 times as well, holding that belt in her career. And she will be sadly missed, and as she was also inducted in the 2019 Hall of Fame along with D Generation X.
Which unfortunately is going to be the only way she ever gets into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. but she will never be missed for her ways of being Triple H's bodyguard in '97, her work in D Generation X, and of course being one of the most top stream women wrestlers to doing and thriving to do something what no woman can do, and that's work in the men's world.
We got no qualms about that.
Nope.
No, she has a lot of respect for me just for doing that alone.
Yeah. It's just you gotta feel bad for her sometimes.
Oh, of course, I do feel bad for her. She got the shitty end of the stick at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Well, kind of hard to transition away from this, you know.
To transition this, guys. So to ending our AEW topic, me and Moses did have a hell of a time, and we actually got to see Jungle Boy taking on Lee Johnson, which you guys can check out tomorrow on Dark Elevations, and with the main event of Angelico taking on Darby Allin, where we got to see, of course, the incredible, legendary, and multiple-time heavyweight wrestling champion of the world, Sting! Woo!
Oh, messed that up. I was just gonna say Sting.
Oh, or do you want to do the Jonas Bunny? It's Sting!
You can tell he's having a lot of fun announcing Sting's name.
Oh God.
On TV.
Correct.
Anyway, guys, that's our AEW topic, and I promised 30 minutes with Gio. Sadly enough, it was an hour. But I hope you guys enjoyed.
I knew this was going to happen.
You knew this was gonna happen. You know wrestling matters.
I know it does. So, you know.
And so we'll go ahead and end in the topic with our last topic of the show, guys, and that is where Yeovani will talk about him entering the Digimon Cup tournament. So, Gio.
Yes, sir.
What's up with that?
Yes, sir. What's up with that? We had a grueling 7 rounds yesterday. 256 players playing virtually through webcam in the Digimon Evolution Cup, which started this month. It's all this month. There's like a couple more. I think there's 2 next week and then 1 after the following. And I think they're going to do some in August. But yes, there's 256 players playing in the Top Cut of Top Cut's event, which is really weird, right? I don't know why they have that name, but you know, it's not here or there. And we had Yellow War Greymon with Mastamon Tech win first place and winning a special coveted Omnimon that you can only get for getting first or second at these events. That was the big prize. Just imagine, Kevin, like, you just equate it to Victory Strike, bro. Like, you literally get first or second place, and the card's gonna be that much. You're looking at a $5,000 to $10,000 card. That's very limited.
Moses, how do you feel about that?
I mean, I definitely think that it has a more financially. It has more of an upside.
Moses, how do you feel about that $5,000, $10,000 card?
What, for Pokemon or for Digimon?
Digimon. It doesn't matter. It's still it's still a monster.
No,
I
it's
mean,
a mon.
Why would you pay $5,000 for a piece of cardboard?
He's not. I mean,
that's all I gotta say.
I mean, he's not wrong. So anyway, moving on. So it was a very stacked field of 266 players, and there were YouTube content creators in the field. All that. We even had, Mr. PPG himself, George Machado, who got 69th. What a insane number for Machado to get 69.
69, dudes.
69. But so let me go to this chat here real quick. So
True hero.
So I'm going to run down the top 10 decks. First place was Yellow War Greymon. Second place was Yellow War Greymon. Third place was Security Control McDonald's. Fourth place was Rookie Rush. Fifth place was Black War Greymon. Sixth was Rookie Rush. 7 was Yellow War Greymon. 8th was Yellow War Greymon. 9th was Yellow Mastamon. And 10 was Yellow War Greymon. Hey, Cam.
Yeah.
Tell me what's the common theme there?
The common theme is that Bandai needs to delete yellow and start over again.
I mean, yeah, but I was having this conversation the other day. I don't remember who was with. Oh, I was talking to PPG sponsored player Danny Gill the other day, and because you kind of have to hit security control at some point, right?
Yeah, that's what like yellow as a whole. Like
It's not even like you're hitting yellow with Greymon, because that deck is kind of ridiculous. But security control kind of takes the game and does things that the game doesn't intend you to do, right? So,
right.
here's an interesting proposition that I said to him. But you ruin yellow if you do this. Are you ready? You hit the TK Tamer to 1,
Absolutely.
or you ban it. As extreme as that sounds, but
Ban so
because then they don't have a memory tamer. That's
they could
that's the
just print a new one. They could print a new one, or they could do without. I mean, they have an option card that just gives them to memory. A lot of people like. We also have what else is coming up? The memory boosts. Like
a
we
memory boost, and then we have new tamers as well that are coming out in all the colors.
yeah. So
There is a new yellow tamer in that, but
so they're not getting choked out. It's just not happening. They're not. So if that's a concern, then yeah.
I mean, this is the first time in any of these webcam events because people are like, oh, yellow hasn't been dominating. I saw that Ride My Avatar, to shout him out, had an interesting video where he did a meta analysis of um, the BT4 webcams up to now, and yellow was 50% of the field.
Yeah.
But if we look at this top 10, there's only 3 decks that aren't yellow.
Yeah.
Everything is yellow.
Yep.
And leading into this weekend, I
I mean,
was kind of.
50% is way past toxic anyway. Like there are
I think he had it
there's
at.
what, six
I think he
colors?
had it at 0.53, 0.54, which is like 53-54% of the field.
Yeah, and there's six colors, right? Yeah, there's six
Yeah,
colors. So
yeah.
you're 50% of the field, and there's six colors. You're way past toxic at that point.
I mean, yeah. I mean, but we're gonna see because they hit green, so it makes me wonder are
And
they
that
gonna hit the.
and we're gonna touch this right now because another thing that we need to hit in yellow, since we're hitting green, right, is
Mm-hmm.
how come? Let me. I gotta process this real quick. How come Argomon has to go down to 1, but Angel Woman
Which is
and
better.
Magnadramon, yeah, which is better, by the way, because it doesn't bring the Digimon in rested, right? And it has an on Digivolve effect, right? That mind you floods. It's a floodgate,
Mm-hmm.
right? So if Argomon can go down to 1, then well, you ask me, Angel Woman can get banned. If that's the type of effect y'all don't want in the game, is free playing Digimon. Oh, the Angel Woman can go. Magnadramon might have to go down to 1. Honestly, if they here, I'm straight up and down. If y'all want to try it and play with it a little bit, Slash can go to 1, Angel Woman can go to 1, Magnadramon can go to 1, TK can go to 1.
I mean, because the winner of this event, he did 3 Wargray, 2 Mastamon, 2 Magna, 2 TK, and 2 Blinding Ray. So even if
Blinding's a little. I'd say blinding is a worse card than HPD.
oh yeah, no, that card's cracked. Once they have no security, they're going to go to whatever it is. Like if you put them at 3, they have no security. They just Blinding Ray, go to 5, bushy, kill you.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's where every color needs these memory stoppers. But I think green, black, and purple are the only ones with the memory stoppers right now.
Hey
I
Moses,
mean,
do
red.
you do you ever understand what they're saying?
He didn't know if it was Pokemon or Digimon. I think you just asking just to ask, man. Come on now.
There was an uptick in security control this past weekend, which is very interesting, and well, we've seen a rise in that. a deck that was, even though it topped and got 4th and 6th Rookie Rush, was very, very few or little to be seen, and there were a few Imperials, but so long as McDonald's exists in the field cam, I think that's a deck. Those two decks are just the top players aren't playing that unless you're Dan Bang of Gaia Force Gaming. As somebody of that level, I don't think we're seeing these two decks outside of people that are really good with the deck.
Just a quick
Like
question: is there like a white deck in the game?
there will be.
There will be,
Okay,
not
because
right now.
I was thinking like if we're gonna have a deck called McDonald's, is there gonna be a deck called Burger King? And what color does that supposed to be?
Ooh,
I'm pretty
that
sure
would be
Burger
great.
King is already a deck.
Because I know red and white. There's like Arby's, Wendy's, KFC, Burger
I
King.
mean, they named blue yellow Walmart control, so like,
That's
you can get very creative with the names in this game.
okay. So you got Walmart control. You got McDonald's.
You got Sierra Mist.
Sierra Mist.
See,
There's Incredible Hulk.
oh,
Well, yeah, you have
Pino?
you have to
You got
green and purple.
Four Loco, the which is the Miami special.
Oh,
But
that's
what?
also true. That's also true. That's also true.
Man, I mean, like I've been playing. I played the game. I enjoy the game. I love the game. But we talked about it before. It's just not Bandai as far as like. I feel this way. Like I understand that there's a lot of eyes on what's going to happen with this DBS ban list, but I feel like to make Digimon competitive, Bandai has a lot of work. They've made a great framework for a fun game, and there's a good amount of diversity in what can be played. But like the things they have let get out of hand in the game are like they're big oofs, and they're pretty obvious. Like,
well, I mean,
well,
to be fair, I wouldn't you say Dragon Ball experienced the same similar growing pains?
um, but here's the thing: is that in like me and certain people, right?
Mm-hmm.
That we both have had conversations with are it's one of them things where I mean, don't you feel like if you're a Tesla, right? Let's take Tesla for example. You're putting on a car. You're like,
Yeah.
oh well, our wheels don't work because it's only our first year making wheels. What do you like wheels? You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You don't have to, maybe they do the electric motor. That's what they brought to the table. That was different. But you don't need to reinvent windows. Like maybe try windows that aren't see through. You don't need to do all that. You have a framework. There's knowledge out there about what's good and not good in the game, right? And you go from there. You're. It's not like a trading card game has never been done before.
I noticed a lot, if you guys haven't noticed lately, but when we talked about the rotations in DBS that should be required, I now noticed that in one of the DBS card game group, Facebook groups, one of them actually mentioned about rotation. And
Did you see the two? Did you see the 200 comments after they posted that?
what did they say?
That was it was a fun no, heck no, our game's gonna die. Um,
Games are just to die.
oh,
To
Like
be honest with you, the way
Pete.
the game is going, it looks like it should because of the ideas with so many new effects and and plays. It just
I
looks like
mean,
it is rotation.
they did give me a Noel a Videl leader. I mean, we asked for it, we got one, right? So I mean, that
But
was
that
revealed today.
But that's fine. But still, like rotation is not like a bad thing for DBS. Like try it out, see how it goes. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. You can talk to Bandai. I mean, we've been talking to Bandai for a while. They've been listening to us. They've been trying to hear and understand that what we're trying to provide to make the game better. But honestly, DBS not trying the rotation could not work out in a way. But still, like if it's better to try than to never try. And why not? I think DBS could do a rotation kind of like Pokemon. I mean, in the end, you're still spending like a lot of money on DBS anyway, guys. So it's not like it's the same outcome what you're doing. I mean, if you want once every 2 years, you have to make sure that the sets correspond with each other, and they have to work out in a way so that way like it can resolve and continue on. Like what we're doing with the Unison, like it's still going
I,
on and
I
on and on.
I agree with
I
you,
mean,
but
yeah, but there are people
I
with unison fatigue right now, though. Keep going, Cam. But just
No, I
want
was
to say
gonna say
that.
I felt the way you felt, Kevin, like a year or two ago. But the issue is that we're past the point because like all the cards that are designed within the context of cards that have been around from the beginning of the game. So like it's just they because the game, you know, it started off a little magic-ish, but now it's just full Yu-Gi-Oh. So like
It's baby magic combined with Yu-Gi-Oh. It's
yeah,
literally what the game is.
in a lot of ways, yes. So it's they went too far in that direction and like
Well,
they
I mean, the lead designer is a Yu-Gi-Oh player, so I mean,
right.
the lead designer for Digimon's a Magic player.
So
And when
you
we look at the games, you can kind of tell like one doesn't have summoning sickness and the other one does.
yeah.
I mean, it's very interesting the way they take their designs right now. But
I think you gotta you would have to do like Vanguard did. You'd have to reboot.
yeah, but reboot. Look at Vanguard Overdress. It's kind of dead in the water right now. Like,
Well, because Overdress is stupid.
well, I mean, the anime itself, that's not here or there, but like, I haven't heard anything about that card game. Not that, like, it was so hyped till this and that. Yes, I know they've had some spring events, but like, I haven't heard anything. I've heard Digimon. I've heard so many people going to Digimon. I'll have to say, it is what I was saying in the earlier episodes. It is the hottest TCG, whether people want to accept the fact or not. The digital monsters are doing something. I mean, just like Pokemon, like I would venture to say they're probably the two hottest TCGs right now out of all of them. I mean,
Uh, I mean, I guess from my perspective, because you know I'm in every Discord, right?
oh, I
So
know, I
yeah,
know.
I'm in remote fight and like it's busting in there. Like the thing about Vanguard, I think, is like it's very much like having gotten into the game and getting familiarized with everyone is like that's just the way the community is. It's in its niche. There's not no one's stressing about anything, and like it's one of those things where like okay, JP is a it's not like Digimon where like a lot of people are spurging out about shit that's happening in JP. You know what I mean? So like everybody's researched, everybody understands. There's not shit to talk about. So there's not a lot of bloated ass like oh my god, like what is this card? You know what I mean? It's like those types of conversations every day because it's like, okay, it got announced in JP like 5 months ago. We've already talked about it. Half of us have already went on tabletop and tested it. You know what I mean? And it just is what it is. And people just play. Like
I'm,
that's the thing that I like about Vanguard is they just play the damn game.
I mean, but their game's also best of one. So, I mean,
There's that.
I found out the Flesh and Blood their Blitz format's best of one, where you side before you even play somebody. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
It's very interesting to see these
Well,
games.
I think Digimon, honestly, to be real with you, like I think Digimon needs a sideboard and a
I,
mulligan. And
I don't think we're ever getting mulligans in Digimon. I really don't.
I mean, they keep asking us about it.
I mean, I think they'll give us a 5 card sideboard. Because I've seen Discord's test tournaments, best of three
So,
15 card sideboards. The game becomes even more random than it already is with that many sideboard cards. Because you could. The thing is, Rookie Rush can turn into Imperial Rookie Rush. It turns into a completely different deck once you add the sideboard cards. So,
I mean
like,
that. So here's the issue. Like, cause I was trying to articulate why the RNG is actually worse in Digimon than it is in other card games because I play every game basically, and the RNG in Digimon is just terrible. And
it
I
is.
and the reason why is because it's not just about your hand. It's about your opponent's hand. And if your opponent has gas and you don't, because the way the memory system works, you get fucked. And not based on your own luck, but you get fucked based on them having luck. So so the way them having a dynamic, you know what I mean, it's basically their. it's almost like a mill strategy, right? Like that's part of what makes mill shitty is because like if they mill you two, that means that they're drawing two of your cards basically, so they're messing up your consistency. So every strategy is basically like you're going
Well,
off of mill RNG.
hey, here's a thing. I got a question for you, right? If consistency was the name of the game, we would see more rookie rush in top. That's like that rookie. Any type
No,
of rookie rush is super consistent.
no, you would see the reason why Rookie Rush eats is not because of its own consistency. Consistency is the struggle of Rookie Rush.
Hmm.
Keep it. You play the deck. You know what I'm talking about. Like keeping your hand size up is the main. If they find a way to drain your hand and stall the game out so that way your hand gets emptied, it's a lot easier for your hand to get emptied in Rookie Rush than any other deck.
Yeah, that's where I like the purple payback deck, where you have the tapier mons and you have cards that draw you more cards than
Yeah,
regular rookie rush.
but it's all roundabout. Like you know what I mean. It's the game has ways to keep the gas going for you, but Rookie Rush is like okay, I will at the expense of my own gas cut you off from yours. That's the thing. If the other person, because the thing is like Rookie Rush, it's imperial. That's why I keep saying high roll. Like that's the problem with high
Well, I
roll
mean,
RNG.
Imperials way more consistent topping events right now than rookie rushes for whatever reason. Right now, I think that has to do that yellow's super popular. Yellow's playing recovery, and Imperial and Lobo can get you 4 or 5 damage on a turn.
Yeah, I mean there's like and it has to do overall with gas because like the thing is that when the top decks that are now when they get there, Black Wargrave can your whole life total.
Well, I mean,
Yellow,
we've had 2 Black War Grays from Team Limit Break top, different builds, but they both have secured 5th place finishes, I believe. Yeah, they're both 5th place.
I believe were they playing Commander on package?
No,
Hmm.
they played the 2 drop Commander Man, but that was about it.
That yeah, I'm just on the 3 drop and the 2 drop. I'm not playing and then
Oh, okay, no, but it was interesting because the guy that topped yesterday, he was playing 2 Blitz Greymon, 1 Alter S, 1 Chaosmon, 3 Black War Greys, 3 Blastmon. It was kind of using Black War Grey as a finisher, and the
yeah,
first deck I think is kind of similar, but I think they called it the an OTK variant, and it seemed more,
yeah,
I guess, kind of in that direction. But this was an interesting deck to top. Now that we're on the subject here, trying to get back on and giving our analysis of at least the top 10 from what we know right now, because we don't
yeah.
know the other. We know KVN, the McDonald's player extraordinaire, got 13th. So that was it. So it's interesting to see that black, and it's a deck. I mean, it has a good matchup against McDonald's. So. Like
Yeah.
and
Were they playing? Did you see Breath of the Gods in there?
No, the only options that both players played, well, yesterday's was only the Zubagon punch. I'd have to go back, but I'm, I think the other player only plays Zubagon punch as well. He might have played one of Breath of the Gods, but I can't remember right now.
Okay. Okay.
But their decks were for consistency to go up and to do a lot of damage when they wanted to kill you. And that was what the and I'm about to start testing this deck because like if this is something that can top and just do really well in that type of field, then I need to test it and I need to see how far this deck can really go because it's not expensive at all to make this whatsoever.
Yeah, I got it for really cheap, and I've been testing it. Like, I can give you some hookups. I think that Breath is a play, in it,
hmm
because 2 reasons. If you don't get the Toy Agumon on the
they
bottom,
were calling that card the best card in the whole entire deck. I think they both said that.
the Toy Agumon,
Yeah.
it is. It's Toy Agumon. If you play 2 Breath of the Gods, it's Toy Agumon 4 and 5 because all of your other inheritables get turned on by giving your thing reboot.
Uh,
And then the other benefit to the card is that in the yellow matchup, they can't delete your Digimon because you can't have your power neg.
That's very strong because like that's kind of like the I think the player yesterday was saying you win the game of chicken because you forced him to come out and then you take advantage with the Blitz Greymon. That's why he runs that card in the deck, which is really interesting.
The Blitz
Because
is something I would run, but I'm currently testing with the Edamon Metal because my version is very floaty. So like I
mm-hmm,
have 4 Edamon, 4 Metal Edamon, and then um the my ultimate lineup is 4 Edamon, 4 Metal Greymon, and then 2 Tank Dramon. So I run two
mm-hmm.
Tank Dramon, 4 Seals Dramon, and then the 4 Command Dramon. So like basically the other side of the deck is that it's not a full Commandramon package, but there's enough consistency there to where like if I don't the inheritable line is like so important, but if I whip on my inheritable line, then I can set up a way to where like, okay, I don't care about what happens. And if you blow my thing up, I'm gonna have an opportunity to recur my board. So like I routinely like the floating you whip every now and again, but it's actually like really consistent.
And how is the Rookie Rush Blue Imperial matchups if you're had to face those kind of decks?
I haven't got to play Ricky Rush, but I have played like faster matchups like hybrid. So I haven't played
Okay.
like traditional Ricky Rush, and like it's pretty 50-50. Like it's I mean that it's the deck in general is like you live and die by the high roll kind of. So yeah, it's a game. It's the same concept. It's a game of chicken. So like
Mm,
you're pretty. And I also play 3 Chaos Mon
oh, okay.
instead. Yeah, because like what'll happen is like okay, I get the Edamon into the Metal Edamon, right? Or a line that goes up into my you know what I mean? Because I'm trying to abuse the floating as much as I can. So like okay, my line isn't great, or I don't want to risk it because it's pretty much like the situation is this that it creates with the Chaos Mon. And their version of my version is the same. Chaos Mon plus Black or Gray. If they have 3 life, then they die, right? But if they have 4, you can safely take them from 4 to 0. That's the thing is it's about playing chicken but also being safe about it because when you have your good inheritable line, you go for the security +1 jamming. You pull the security +1 and you pull the baby, right? So that means
Mm-hmm.
you have another swing jamming, and then you just chaos over top and go ahead and get your number 4. So you if you have something in raising or anything else on field, like they have to remove 2 things and you got game on board. So it's just about creating situations and yeah, keeping that it's just big like whatever energy. Like it's a lot of that's where I went with the floating and adding that to the deck because that's in general what that card and black is right now. Is it's like do what the hell you're gonna do because I'm gonna do what the hell I'm gonna do.
So I was reading some Facebook comments. They were saying like they thought the like for Black the Top it had to cheat or whatever, be sketchy type of thing. But I don't think so. I think if you bring a deck that nobody's expecting like that,
Yeah,
or rookie rush, one of the guys from and he's in Marco Island, so he's near where my mom's place in Naples is.
yeah,
He ran Chimeramon tech in rookie rush, and he ran 4 Viper. So
yep.
he was
Okay.
running removal to get rid of the blockers and Shakumon and stuff like that. And so that was interesting. And then the other player, he ran a lot of Aqua Vipers. Like they're saying Aqua Vipers the move in Rookie Rush, and I kind of sort of believe it.
Yeah.
I don't think I think giving memory is really bad in this format, and I think if
I actually
people
disagree. If you look, one thing I noticed, if you look at the top of the list, the first place list, because
yes,
this is where the game's going, right? Is
mm-hmm.
that having the text, it's getting to the point where the text quality is to the point where cheap is not worth sacrificing the text. So like if you look at all there's no 2-0 rookies in that war gray list that top yesterday.
No, because their reasoning was this Pulsemon is basically a vanilla that draws you a card and gains
And
your memory.
that is true to the fact of Pulsemon. So that is But the thing is, the game doesn't start at that game state, right? And choking early is very important. But the opportunity cost, the upside, right, because of the text on the card, makes it worth losing early game and letting them get a little bit of their gas going and not choking them out.
I personally think the Mastamon tech is what we'll see Wargraves play now. Is if you're gonna play McDonald's, we saw that from Alex Michael, the kid that was on Team Limit Break. I'm not sure if he's still on it now, but he topped with Shine with Mastamon, and he also topped with the Block deck and got 5th place in this. So, like he's a budget player that he works and tries all these cards and stuff like that, and so he kind of was one of the people to bring that tech to the forefront. Yeah, I guess you can say, you know. And so now Wargrave's taking that adaptation because Shine ran that card and blew on McDonald's, and so now Wargrave's doing the same thing. And I think that Mastermod's a good deck, but a lot of people say it loses to green. But the interesting part is, and this is why I wanted to really talk about this Evolution Cup. Next week, if people go down on green, you open the door for Rookie Rush and Imperial to come back.
Yeah.
Because Imperial's got a 50-50 versus yellow, or some people say it's got a good match against yellow. It depends who you talk to. I personally think the yellow matchup is Imperial really doesn't care. Like, if you get the combo and everything going, like, you just have to draw bad.
Imperial in general is pretty, like, Imperial is, we've talked about 100 times, but Imperial just doesn't play matchups. Imperial does what the fuck it does. The RNG treats it how it treats it, and a lot of times the RNG can and will favor it. It's just a matter of it's a linear aggro deck. End of the day,
for the most part. But see, the thing is like, if people go, I mean, I believe Green Hercules is on the rise now. Has a very good McDonald's matchup. I've heard things that it can, 50-50 yellow. I've heard that green does well into purple, but you don't really see purple out there that much. It's there, it's there, but.
Well, no, we've been talking about that. I tried telling you at the start of the format. I'm like, the Digiburst Metal Garurumon is not the way to play that deck.
Oh, I think it's the best way to play the deck. And if that's not good enough, then that color's not good.
Like,
and the next format, in the purple OTK deck, the other Metal Gurumon and the Caress from the starter deck are used in that deck, which that is a tier 1 deck.
Well,
so that'll be
a lot of builds instead of the Crest. I'm a bigger fan of the Taxamon build, just because Taxamon it's probably the most solid boss monster ever printed for purple.
I mean, I have the Crest because I bought the starter deck, so I would just try it with that and see how that goes. Because I've seen YouTube clips, and it's pretty nasty once you get the security +1 and you Digiburst. You kind of take their security away.
Oh yeah. I mean it, but here's the thing though, Gio. This is what I'm trying to say. Like, right now, like, just the two, it's just about the sequencing, because there's been so many times where and it's hard. You got to see it in action, but I've killed people with 4 security.
Well, see, that's nice, and especially if that deck can, be budget friendly, which I think I've seen some of this, and it doesn't look too expensive.
I mean, the Metal Guru is like a $3 card, like,
for right now. But then, we got the Red Agumon Rush deck in BT5. We got Shaman. We got a lot of different decks that don't exist in this format. But going back to this format, in this format, I believe the promo is the best way. And if it's not, like, well, I guess you're never going to see purple. So if
I'm
green,
telling all y'all, anybody listening, telling all y'all, try different shit. That the issue deal is consistency, man. That's the problem. Is consistency.
Well, I mean, I think that the builds that have topped, the guy that top PPG and top one of the other webcam events, it's interesting because I believe he's local to PPG, but barely plays at the locals. Actually, ironically, um, he doesn't like playing the option cards. He'd rather swarm, and that's kind of like the whole consistency thing. Like if you focus on a lot of the extra cards, I see that's where the bricking happens with purple.
Yeah.
And if you just focus on the main stuff, it has a better shot at it.
Yeah, exactly. And that's I guess that's my
And,
whole point is that the option cards, and like I've played against Lilith. You know what I mean? The new Lilith loot deck. I played against. When it gets there, it'll fuck you up. When it gets there, the issue is that like
I
it's hard.
mean, I don't know how that gets through Lord Nightmon. I mean, I've seen like the purple Mega deck do some pretty good stuff. I can't see how Lilith does well into that match. But anyway,
Oh, you talking about the next format? I mean, next
yeah.
format, like no, I actually haven't played any set five, so
What was I going to tell you? So if Green goes away, which I don't think so, because I think Hercules is on the rise. But see that deck.
but I don't think it'll
The,
be popular. Is the thing that
I
Green.
mean that deck's biggest issue is drawing 5 or 6s more than anything. Because I have the 2 green starter decks. I put it together. I don't have Nidhogg's, but just seeing how the deck works, like when you draw great, it's fabulous. But when you don't draw the pieces, it just feels awful. Like if you can't draw level 6, if you can't draw into it, that's like the worst time. So, but it feels better than the green OTK deck in consistency aspects. But like, um,
I mean,
what
when
was I
it
gonna
gets
say?
there, because the issue, yeah, is about like when it gets there,
Mm-hmm. But
like
see,
Nidhogg is fantastic when it gets there.
but
OTK still is weak.
the thing is, OTK Brick, it's not the most consistent thing. I mean, I've been telling people yellow's the best deck for a while, and I nothing's really changing my mind. I have Yellow Ward Greymon 1. I have. I really think. I really think the second spot goes to Security Control or Imperial. Whichever one you see more of is the one that'll be there, and then I think Green is third. Honestly, because we don't have that much rookie rush representation. However, the 2 rookie rush players that topped yesterday have topped other Bandai events. Um, the fourth place with rookie rush and the other player topped with Megazoo, I think, in another webcam event.
Mm,
But he's always played rookie rush though, so it's not like it's a new concept for him. I
right.
mean, are people gonna bring back rookie rush? Because if you brick and you give that deck memory, you're in it for a bad time. So do people go that route? Because there has to be some type of meta shift coming into next week's 2 Evo Cups, and you got to be bringing something different. We're about a Gen Con in person and online is 2 months away. The signups for in person are almost sold out. As of today's recording, they went up 12:30 a
Mm.
couple hours ago. So, and then we'll have Otakon Digimon, which I'm sure that in-person stuff will fly as well. But there's got to be some type of meta shift for next week. I mean, the fact that the top 10 decks, only 2 rookie rush and 1 black, everything else is yellow. I mean, I don't
I
know.
think
It's
it's a
interesting.
good time to probably start bringing black. I know that conventionally, black's matchup against yellow isn't great, so it seems kind of silly given like the popularity of yellow. But this black War Greymon deck doesn't play basically what Black War Greymon plays like Yo. Um, I don't know if you've seen it in action. I'm sure you like have seen it,
I've seen,
but
I've seen, I've seen clips of different versions. But
I think at its core, it plays like the best red deck in the format.
mm,
It plays like a red deck that doesn't have the issues that red has. And given the fact that you have Breath of the Gods, A, as a way to help you in the yellow matchup, B, what's Red's really suffering from right now too is it doesn't have the one to Evo blocker, and
Well, that's a big deal, but the another part of it is that Red's cards that it got in the set weren't that great.
yeah, I mean the hybrid stuff is cool. I mean I
I
actually
mean,
have a decent little red deck, but it's it's just for fun. But
I
I
mean,
see what you're saying.
does Red Omni make a return next week as a red deck? Like if you're going into the field and you know you're playing against two, if you're going to play a lot of 2CC, do you go in with Red Omni? I mean, I don't know how you beat the Yellow War Greymon matchup because Shine against Red Omni felt terrible, and I can only imagine what this
It's
might feel like.
I think if you were to play like I think if you were to play like Alter S in black maybe, but like the one to Evo blocker makes all the difference. That little extra poke that decks can get off before they go off makes a big difference. So that is a big deal. So like starting your game with rookie and the one to Evo, that like that's just like everything. And then so black might be something to try because I think black has a good green matchup and it's a better yellow matchup than um, red. If you do, this is just if you don't want to play yellow, and I think that it's not as big brain as purple. I think that because I think that purple metal guru, the Digiburst metal guru, the popular one that everyone probably has, it tries to be Unga Bunga, but purple is still like it's still fundamentally big brain.
I mean, the thing is that most people won't just leave their stack and raising and go all the way up, or go into Lady Devi or whatever the level 5 is, and then
Yeah.
go to metal and then explode. It seems people want to explode beforehand, and that's not the greatest thing because as soon as your level 5 dies or something tragic happens, you just lost all the tempo, and your comeback factor is that promo.
Well,
To
so Lady Debbie too. The other, and that's the other reason too why I didn't particularly enjoy that variant is because like we know from 1.0 and 1.5, right? Sets 1 through 3, that like I'm gonna say as weird as it's like blue in 1.0, where Monzimon was the best card in the deck. Skull
I'm
Miramon is like the best
it,
card in the deck.
interesting you being blue because we did see a rise in blue Omni or blue decks to try to
Yeah,
counter Yeller in the Evo Cup. We did see that yesterday.
Yeller.
and blues is definitely a good potential play. I think that you definitely need to lean on the hybrid stuff, but here's the thing, right? Is I think that I would have to like put my brewing tinfoil hat on, but I feel like if you can in some way um incorporate some source strip into your blue, then because the thing is yellow, when yellow gets its line, the sources do a lot for it.
I mean, there is a blue Omni deck floating around with the Vicomon and the blue strip stuff, but it doesn't look good enough, though. There is
Yeah,
that
I mean
flaw.
it's not quite there, but I mean maybe you do I know there's a starter deck, the starter deck Zudomon, and it strips two sources on Digivolve.
Oh, they run that card. That's in the deck.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've seen some people start to like throw that card around a little bit. So I think that there's definitely some gas there because like if you can cut a lot of that value off from them, then it's just free.
I'm gonna give you an interesting deck idea. It's a green deck, but you're gonna be surprised what I'm gonna say. Okay, are you ready?
Go on, go on.
And
I'm
there's a Japanese list that I've seen. You know, it has Hercules Kabuterimon, but that's not. There's another card that's played. What if people started flocking to green Tidamon control with Hercules? Because
Um,
in the JP list, they played like three Tidamon, three Hercules, or something like that. So having a vanilla, because we all know that deck. I mean, yeah, it had a tendency of bricking, but like your bricks weren't as bad as Green OTK. I mean, the payoff might not be as big, but
I
you
mean,
know,
GP. Here's the thing too is that like that's a big part of like the red deck I built and like what I've been talking with Red players about their lists and things, is that like I think where we're at with the format is like the DP Greymon. You know what I'm talking about? The set one, not the starter deck one.
The promo.
Not the promo. The just the one that's from the set.
Oh, the one from the set. Yes.
Yeah, just plus 2K DP. Like I
Yes.
value that really high right now. Just like I value the purple, the Black War Greymon. I think hitting big DP for safe checks, safe checks, multiple checks, is a big deal. So like 12K beat stick top ends, they're not poor at all. And I think that's another thing too that people underestimate when they do their deck building is like cards like Mastermind, they don't just have value in the sense that they do what they do when they hit the field, but they also strengthen your security. So like
Well, that's true. That's
yeah.
1,000. I mean, but Bushy's a broken card. Like, let's just be real and call it what it is. Like, Bushy's absolutely busted in half.
Bushy's a broken
Very
card
delusional.
that's attached to a slew of broken cards. I think that what did we go through a list of all things to hit the one? I don't know if that was on the list. I think I said Slash, Magna.
I mean, it reminds me
DK.
of Bushy reminds me of the free 15K. I think I said this in one of the other episodes as well. From Dragon Ball, like he comes down, and you just got your value as soon as he swung and you took damage. He got his value, and he's like, okay, we're straight, And the fact that he exists makes you play different. And the security control decks in this event, Smorhead and KVN, they were playing 4 Bushies in their list. So, and JP has started playing Bushies in BT6 in that deck. So,
Why not?
it's just too good. It's just too good. He comes down. The thing is that every yellow deck right now is playing Magnadramon and Bushy. I don't see any other. Well, I mean,
Sounds
sounds like what?
sounds like heaven to me.
Except you can't partake since you don't have the cards. But yes, there's yellow. It's yellow heaven right now. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show, Noel. As we're talking about the Evolution Cup that happened this past weekend, and I'll run you down the top 10 again since you just joined. Okay, are you ready? Oh, all right. And yeah, so here was the top 10 from the Evolution Cup. I've been digging, and so I got the top 10. Okay, are you ready? I just got to dig it up real quick again. All right, here we go. I just have to. Okay, first place, Yellow War Greymon. It had Mastermon tech, like a lot of the War Greymons on this, but I don't separate it, just so you know. So first place, Yellow War Greymon with Mastermon tech. Second place was Yellow War Greymon. I did not run the tech. Third place was McDonald's. Fourth place was Rookie Rush. Fifth place was War Greymon, not OTK. No, number 6 was Rookie Rush. Number 7 was Yellow War Greymon with Mastermon tech. Number 8 was Yellow War Greymon with Mastermon tech. Number 9 was Yellow Mastermon, and number 10 was Yellow War Greymon.
Amazing. That sounds all amazing.
Is it okay?
Sounds like War Greymon.
Yes. The thing is that hi Joe, and also welcome to the show.
I just saw act.
I mean, you played in it, Joe. You played yesterday. You did. So tell me your experience. It's great because I'm glad you hopped on for this.
Oh, I hopped in the first time. So my experience as a whole. So
yes.
The tournament ran smooth. It was on schedule. Online events always have this weird feel for me because there's not as much social interaction. But
I feel like the Digimon ones are better run than the Dragon Ball ones. I don't know if you have that same opinion.
Well, Dragon Ball on webcam is a lot more complex because you need to know more information.
This is true.
Digimon's really, you kind of like the graveyard doesn't really matter. You could ask like if they have X card, like how many Gaia forces in there, just for example. But that's off topic. We could talk about that after. But overall, I had a good day. I went X2.
I know you got 41st.
I got 41st. So the way Bandai's tournament set up makes it very complicated because due to the fact that one of the undefeateds, 2 of them, wound up drawing, I believe, in round 5.
Oh yeah, KVN and Smorhead, they drew.
there was
and
one less round. So now you have a sea of people that are at X2, and they're not going to make top 32, which in normal circumstances they probably would. But that did not.
it's interesting because I was watching that match on KVN stream, and it looked like Smorehead like played slow the whole time, and KVN's like, "Hey, hurry up" and stuff like that. Who knows if they like? I don't think they intentionally drew, but I think the draw kind of protected KVN in a sense. But I don't think that's exactly what he wanted either, though, because if you were gunning for the Omni, uh, drawing was like the worst scenario at that moment.
I stayed away from the streams of people because I don't want like insider knowledge about what people are playing. Because like now, I mean, like everyone can do it. Like it's just like I don't have the time to do that either. Like
Exactly. But see, I'm a spectator. You know, I didn't play yet.
no,
I
yeah,
wanted,
absolutely,
you
I
know.
agree. But like it was just like odd to like have that cut and like the way RK9 does it. You don't get to say, "Oh, I won 2-1 or I won 2-0," which in the long term helps with match win percentage. Everyone just you either win or lose.
Yes.
So I like the people I played. Some of them dropped. Usually, a drop person like doesn't really apply to your match win percentage anymore, or it applies like a certain amount, like across the board. That's I could be wrong. So anyone listening, fact check me on this, but I can't. I can't control that aspect of the tournament.
I mean, it was great. It was great because you got that, and then I want to shout out my buddy Kabox that got 35th with McDonald's control. So I want to shout him out real quick. Watching you guys, tracking your progress was interesting because I didn't know either of you were gonna. Well, I mean, I've seen you play events, but I never expect either of you to randomly show up. So it was kind of interesting to see. And I think you told me you play Green OTK. So tell me your matchups and
I did. Okay, so round one, I played. What the hell did I play round one? That's the one I don't remember. Round one.
Disappointing.
Oh, I played Green Hercules. So kind of like half the mirror. I won. Round two, I played Ragnar Lordman, which is a very different take on OTK, and he got me in 3.
Oof.
Game 3, I played a Rookie Rush-esque Imperial Dramon.
Okay, so you played Imperial Rush is what you played, yeah.
Yeah, so he had like the green rookies that were 5Ks and
yes. That's what they call it. That's what they call it. They just call it a rush deck. So like Ancient Garurumon also has a variant where they do that as well.
Well, like I see why they do it because it makes their Davis more live, and his Davis loved him. Like he got 2 more than, but like he was a good guy. Like he wound up bricking game 3. I always like I only 2-0'd 2 people that day.
Okay.
So I always went to game 3. Round 4, I played a Mastamon War Greymon list.
Do you remember who it was by any chance?
The person that got 31st. Her name was Stephanie.
Oh, it's nice to see that Digimon gets girls that play on like Dragon Ball. Like I know that there's women that play Dragon Ball, but it's fun.
So like Pokemon and Digimon, to my knowledge, right now have like probably the highest female base of players, and then Magic probably falls like somewhere tied with Digimon.
Yeah, I agree because I know that it's not easy to get many female players to come join. Many of them are not interested, or the fact that it's like a rare opportunity.
Well,
like even in Yu-Gi-Oh, it's a rare opportunity, but you do see more of them than you do in some in Magic or Dragon
Is that
Ball.
Noel?
No, this is Kevin.
Who's I talk? Where's Noel? He's there.
Noel's there. He's listening.
He's sleeping.
What do I want? That's rude. I haven't heard from you in forever.
Well, we invite you guys in the call, but you guys never answer back, so we had someone else. We had our good friend Moses to join.
I mean, he did, yeah.
In all fairness, I was at work. I would have joined earlier.
Oh,
so tell me, did you have a nice time at Starbucks?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I got paid to be there.
No,
okay, so that's good. All right, so keep going. So, keep going. The next, you played Yellow War Greymon Mastodon. Did you win or did you lose that?
I lost that one. I'll get to it after. Round 5, I played a Yellow War Greymon, which it appeared to just be straight War Greymon. Round 6, I played Purple Metal Garurumon.
Oh, so it was there. Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, there was representation of each deck there, but obviously, like where they landed. I mean, Top Cut says they're gonna like release like the top 16 deck list or something like that. At some point. Hi. Um, and then round 7, I played another War Greymon list, and then that was the end of the tournament. So I went X2, and there was 44 people that had 15 points or better. And that's where match win percentage came in. But match win percentage in an event that doesn't apply if you won 2-0 or 2-1 seems more skewed to me.
I mean, it was great because the person that got first is from Noel's region in Utah, ironically. So we had a Midwest player who is a teacher, actually. He has his own team, Team Wolfpack, and so it shout out to those guys. Congrats! It's great that you come from Yu-Gi-Oh, you build a Digimon team, and you see success and you win an event. So Joe, tell me this. What do you think of playing in a sea of yellow? Because since you and Noel weren't there, we were talking about how something needs to happen to yellows. There needs to be a check, And the thing,
what is this music?
They don't need to touch yellow.
Several things need to happen to yellow, not just.
And the thing,
you're all out of your damn minds. Get out of here.
The thing is that the problem is with hitting yellow. If you hit security control and you hit the tamer TK, they don't have a tamer. Is what we were talking about, And I think limiting TK to 1, as in the event, as you see, the winning list had 2 TKs, 2 Blinding Ray, 3 War Greymon, 2 Magnadramon, and 4 Bushy, 4 Pulse. It doesn't matter if you limit TK to 2, because we already saw I got first place. It doesn't matter if you limit Blinding Ray.
I don't feel that yellow. The only thing that yellow has to be touched is probably the Angelwomon. To be,
that's the point.
Probably has to be once a turn. Like TK is fine. There's nothing wrong with TK.
TK gives you more knowledge than any other person playing any other color, because the fact that you could look at your security, not that you're stacking it, but you have knowledge of what's in there is a very powerful thing.
Well, yeah, it does 2 things because the way
you knowing what's in there is different from your opponent knowing what's in there, because
they never know. It
doesn't really affect you because you also don't know the order because you have to shuffle. It's really just like TK lets you draw a card.
He does, yeah. It's funny because Danny Gill from Team PPG, he played against Red. He played against Moorhead, right? 1 round. You know what? You know how he got blown out? S'moreshead's last 4 security were Gaia Force, Gaia Force, Gaia Force, Gaia Force.
Like, what? Security can make a break again. Oh my god! Hold on.
The fact that you're setting 5 back rows. Pretty much.
It is a trap deck if you're using that. It's Invoker from Dragon Ball.
You have a 10-card opening hand, and you also are setting 5 back row. Like
I don't know. The deck. If Yellow Wargrave text a Mastamon, like we were talking about earlier, it makes that matchup easier, but. At that point, does everybody just play Yellow War Greymon and becomes Yellow War Greymon Fest? What is the next spice for next week? Because I don't think the person that wins the event wants to sit through mirrors.
I think you see uptick in red-yellow security control I
I
think
mean,
you see a lot more
we saw.
option cards that remove Digimon. I see Heat Viper somehow making its way in because it hits the level 4s. I think Herc Nidhogg will probably be more present.
I was saying that I think that's the deck that's going to rise up. I was also mentioning that the two rookie rush lists that topped, they both played. One played four Aqua Viper, and the other one two, and wanted to go to three. So if Rookie Rush is doing that, I could totally see Purple saying, "Hey, we have Heat Viper. It's the same kind of card. We should start playing this."
I mean, like a free Heat Viper is really good in metal.
I mean that
Like
it is.
you can go Nailbone, Heat Viper, get rid of a Papillon, draw a card, and get rid of two of their dudes for free, which seems really nice in layman's terms. I mean, purple's a tight list as it is, especially with what option cards you use. I don't think there's really anything wrong with yellow. It's just very consistent and it's high in presence, but it's not like too overpowering. I mean, outside of the Angelwoman being able to like trigger twice off of Wargrey, I mean, if she doesn't need to be
Well,
banned.
I
Once a
mean
turn
the thing.
seems fine.
No, she should go to one if Argomon's at one. This is what we were talking about earlier. Like,
Yeah.
Well, Argomon's a different. That was a different kind of thing because like hidden potential and Argomon were just not okay.
Yeah, I think that's a misrepresentation of the interaction because Argamon plays arrested Digimon. You can't even use that thing for materials. That and not only that, but Angel Woman when it did evolve is a fucking floodgate.
Yes, but Angelwoman has a restriction. Granted, the restriction is very easy to like get around, but still has a restriction.
obnoxiously easy.
It's
Well,
a
the thing is, a Magnadramon and Angelwoman give you two Bushies, two Lucimons, two Pulses. What?
Right.
It,
It's the flooding that it's essentially the same thing that Green had. So like you can
mhm.
either A unlimit that stuff, at least in American format, because I understand that Japanese format's way ahead of us and it's probably vastly different. Or you hit yellow in some way, shape, or form, but it doesn't really need to be hit too hard. Like they're fair. It's just a little because like
Once you explode, it's not fair anymore.
no, yeah, but like that's what the deck does, and it's not like this event showed, but like the previous event, like what one Imperial Dramon won along with like Green OTK with Dave
Oh
Sublet,
yeah,
the
yeah. That
PPG
was
event.
the PPG event. Dan Bang and Tyler won the
Right.
Tampa.
Right, with
The
Green OTK.
yeah.
So it's not to say that like yellow like this event, sure, yellow was way over the top in presence as well, like which also probably falls under the line of just the people playing it, maybe not so much the power of it.
Well,
it
the thing is, you gotta win the Omni is top two. I
I
could
I
think
see that.
part of it so
as a
part of it
side
is
note, the
power
guy that
level.
lost to the guy that won wound up getting third, and that feels bad.
That
And
feels very bad.
I feel awful for that individual because like I get it, match win percentage, but you can't control that. And like to go undefeated to lose the last round to not get the top two prize is very I think like the two undefeated in the final should be first and second
Oh
because
man, yeah, that's true. I mean, the
but
thing is, if we don't,
but that's not how the system works.
can't they draw in the last round if they're the only two undefeated?
This is Bandai. You can't intentionally draw. You know that.
I do know this, but hey, you never know. People want this Omnimon, so I mean,
Well, if they both draw in, they had that other undefeated that was there that had a draw, and if his match win percentage was better, still one of them was out.
oh well, that's true too.
So
That's
like
also
it's such a rough situation. Plus, like they wouldn't let you draw in an online event. Like
yeah.
they'll know.
Well,
They're
I
like,
mean,
hold on a
yeah.
second.
And that, yeah, of course they'll know. But I mean, the thing is that Green OTK is not. It's not. It's a very inconsistent deck. I want to say.
Oh! Please tell me about it.
I
Now,
feel like
I understand that I performed well. I get that.
yes.
However, I barely got the OTK combo at all. I barely saw it. Like a lot of the games that I won was just like the value of being able to climb my chains cheaply. and then not having a tamer out because
So this is what. Keep going.
Because green chokes the most effectively.
Out of all normal decks, probably.
Yeah, that and blue.
Yeah, but the thing is that I was saying Green Hercules. It runs almost all the same cards outside of the Palmon and stuff like that, and you're just more passive. But you can run Grand Kuagamon in the list. I mean, and just have it die if you wanted to for aggression. But it's good against the security control. But like, even that deck, it's like I was saying, like if you don't draw your 5s or 6s in that deck, it just feels bad, and I think that's Green's worst problem right now.
I mean, in all fairness, like if you don't see your top end in any deck right now, Rookie Rush doesn't count. It's the only deck that like doesn't have that issue. It just feels bad. I
Yeah,
mean,
but
yellow has tools to find it, and TK would be
they
one
do.
of those tools because like if you run 4 War Greymon, you should see one of the first 8 cards mathematically. So you get to see the other 5 off of your top.
But I mean, Rookie Rush isn't really a deck in this format. Like if we're being, you'll probably encounter
You
Blue Imperial
tell
before you.
that to the 4 individuals that made top 16 with it.
I mean, sure, yeah, but the thing is that deck, like, if you play, like, because you know me, I play Rookie Rush a lot, and the thing I'm finding is the green matchup is horrible. Whether you're playing, blue green Rookie Rush, or you're playing the purple payback Rookie Rush list. The moment they nidhogg you, this the moment you're behind. And so, like, I could see
Yeah.
with that Chimeramon tech is like you blow up the level 5 that they didn't expect that you could, and then you're in business because now they're set back, and you're not set back because you don't care. And so I
Well,
could see.
yeah, but like that has to do with like testing and just thinking what's going to be in the environment. Like I think there's going to be more. I mean, green was the one deck that contested War Greymon in Japan, but that's when it was at like 4 Argamon, 4 Hidden Potential.
I mean, green was the best deck over there when it had all that.
I mean, Hidden Potential is a broken card.
I mean, Yellow War Greymons Rise was before that.
I think Blinding Ray is probably more broken, to be honest.
I mean, the fact that at 3 you can go to 5 and you kill them with bushy off blinding. Yeah, it's a thing, but
Well, so
that.
like it's really just like I guess the way like Bandai sees yellow is like you have to sacrifice security to do these effects. So like you have to have a
I mean,
good outlook on your matchups and how to
it,
sequence
it's it,
properly
it,
to not
it's
kill yourself.
it's literally a Dragon Ball Super aggro deck in another game. It's literally what it is.
That's fine. And for those that don't, and those listening that are not familiar with Dragon Ball Super, and just imagine playing solitaire in a way.
I mean, Reboot Gohan called.
That's 4 cards.
But I mean, technically, 3 of them is the leader card itself. But anyway.
It's really just it's Gohan and feet. That's it.
Oh, I love
Gohan
that.
feet and maybe one super combo, and then you're like, all right, we got it.
It's funny. All the Gohan players play Blue Imperial or Yellow War Greymon. It's really funny. But anyway,
I don't. I'm strange.
It happens. But you also
I just like green, and I thought it'd be more consistent, like to see the OTK, but it's not. I have nowhere to find pieces. Like I have to hard draw it.
So I mean, but like I was stating earlier, do we see Red Omni make a comeback for next week with the BT1 War Greymons to counter security control? But then the yellow matchup isn't the greatest. I would
Probably
feel.
not. I wouldn't think so. I think you just keep the same like format, more or less. You'll probably see an uptick in green control because it has a decent showing against normal War Greymon. It's the Mastamon combination makes it rather difficult.
I mean, Cam was he was talking about the Black War Greymon deck at top, and he's been running that list. He's walking us through and saying that's a deck that could see more uprise due to the fact that it's really a red deck. It's really an aggressive deck, and it's interesting because if you're saying black is red, I there's somebody by the name of Vegex that called, and Last time I checked, he was very, very good. So if you're telling me that Bandai made another black deck that acts red, shouldn't that be something we should be prone to testing and seeing?
It's different because nothing is free in Digimon.
Except Andrew Woman, right?
Not Edge Woman's not really free though. You have to pay for it. You could just, I don't know, kill it.
You could, but I mean,
when remove that's the thing though in the game is that removal in this game, the price of the removal is enough for them to rebuild a whole line.
That is true.
X2 usually. So they just drew through half the deck because they did evolved up the line.
it feels bad when you could Kaido somebody and they just go back up and you're just like, wow.
So Kakaitis is not good removal currently. Because that's literally what happens. Like, oh, okay, it really, all it does is get rid of Digivolution sources. That's all it does.
I mean, it's better when you hit it off security. Then
well, yeah, because then you get to take out an additional attacker. So, like, that's also a thing.
But
I don't know. I really do see Green Control like making more of a presence, like with Valderon's and whatnot, because how easily you can climb into it. I think Valderon's is definitely the better choice to deal with War Greymon because it's kind of like you're playing the same game they're doing. Because normal Chaosmon deals with one threat, like Valderon's deals with potentially two, and if it's destroyed, you get 3 memory. So it kind of flicks them off.
I think though that's part of the strength of like Black Wargrave, for example.
I have to see the list. To be completely honest.
I mean, I can link you the video.
Yeah, because what we're doing as well is we're also abusing Chaosmon, obviously not Valorarms. Because the thing is that with the Wargrave deck also is it's not the what you really want to do is you want to take the whole stack down at once. You don't want to poke at all. If you poke, you're doing their job for them. So that's where like OTK style strats are. Everyone's trying to figure out what's the best like kind of OTK list because that's the theory, right? Or slash reality is that if you can take the whole stack down, then they lose all that value.
They lose a resource there.
Yeah,
and I mean, like I mean, as long as they don't have a TK, if you can choke them a little bit and get them to like 1 or 2,
yeah,
you'll also be okay because they still need to like do blinding ray and stuff like that. I mean, I essentially, I mean, like it can also brick. Like I've seen yellow decks brick. Like it happens. It's part of card games. Does it brick often? Probably not because it has so many tools to like find stuff. But on the other side of that, like the essential strategy is make sure they don't have a security stack, but then they can still blinding ray and mask them on. So they just can't wall Greymon, which is whatever. But they can also be like, all right, I have 0 security. I'll swing a wall Greymon. This Andrew Womon's here. Let me resolve Andrew Womon first, play Lucamon, recover, then pick the card back up, then untap. It's just like, okay, that did nothing.
but that's also a reason why I guess in my personal blacklist I've I'm not on a full D Brigade list, but I'm using like the Edamon, the Commandramon, things of that nature because like while they're blowing your board up, it gives you want to keep the value flowing. So it's RNG. It's not as consistent as running a full. But the issue with running a full D Brigade, for example, right in this format, is you're poking too much, and poking is how you lose against Wargreymon. So you're taking advantage of the floating value, but you're also still setting up an OTK.
It's such a like. I mean, look at it this way. Like, if they are deciding to hit yellow, now is not the time to do it because now you have BT5 dropping in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, something like that. I mean, granted, yellow just goes right into Lord Nightmon, which
that's where we suffer a little bit because, like, right now the deck isn't doing super great in set 6, but I mean, yeah, Nightmon into slash Angemon it's broken. You know, like Lord Knight putting down a level 5 for free and then going into a slash and it's not even past the turn, blowing up
I mean,
anything.
you could also go into Mastamon and get more dudes out. So like, and then Lord Nightmon just gets 1K for each time that happens. So it's definitely like that deck might make Bandai consider hitting it, at least for like the American format, because yellow is like
If they
it's like a tier 1.5 deck in Japan right now, because Bonds of Friendship is just
yeah.
abusing the crap out of the
I'm
format.
getting Danny Gill from PPG to give his tournament report real quick, and because he also played Green OTK, and it'd be great to get
No,
his
I mean the
analysis on that too.
Did he place higher than me?
No, I think he got 66. Is that,
Yeah.
what place did he?
66.
So welcome to the TCG Party Podcast, Danny. I appreciate you
What's
coming
good?
on.
It's
What's
all good.
good,
It's all
bro?
good.
Hi,
You
Danny.
know,
Hey, what's up?
Danny boy.
so we're just talking about the Evo Cup and just talking about decks and fields and stuff like that. So it'd be a great time to bring you on. And Joseph over here got 41st with Green OTK, so I wanted you to give us your analysis of the Green OTK performance that you had throughout the weekend, and you tell me your thoughts on the deck.
Obviously, the deck is a very powerful deck. It does what it does. Um, the only thing that could beat Green OTK is itself if it bricks. Not seeing your pieces is really really tough when you're playing it. Playing through the bricks is really really tough with Green OTK. My worst matchup, I would say, from the decks that were in the tournament is red yellow security. Especially when your deck starts slowing down and just can't get back up there. It's really tough against that deck. Um, I had a easy time with yellow, which was majority of the field. I saw yellow Mastamon make a big appearance with this tournament, which was insane, especially given George from Gaia Forces Gaming success with the deck. I would say
He
contribute to that.
he inspired a lot of people. He even inspired War Grandma players to start playing the Mastermon tech. Let me, I don't know if you know this, but have you seen the top 10 what the lists were? If not, I could just run them by you real quick.
It's like
Go ahead.
that'd be like the third time you're gonna read this list.
Hey, man. Hey, it's an important list, Kevin. Hey, you had your fun within the first hour with wrestling,
Oh,
okay?
I'm sorry. You're right. That's right. But I don't get fun every episode. I just mentioned it a couple times, but you're like, yeah, it's here. We got McDonald's. We got
So,
the controls. We got an Incredible Hulk. Now we're all having a little fun.
I do. This is good. This is great. I do. You could react. But anyway, so Danny,
Yeah, you go ahead and
basic,
talk about it. I'm just playing my little Duel Links here in the meantime.
basically 6 War Greymons, 1 McDonald's, 2 Rookie Rush, 1 Black War Greymon deck, and 1 Yellow Mastermon.
Okay, okay. So, Wargrade definitely doing its thing. Um,
And then first place and 7th and 8th had Mastermon decks in their decks.
nice. Um, I mean, red yellow security. I'm surprised there wasn't more of it.
Smorehead and got 3rd, and then KVN got 13th.
Yeah,
As far as we know, right this second.
yeah. Smorehead specifically is the red yellow player I lost to in round 3, and after that it was just downhill for me. I got then I got paired with Rookie Rush. Took it to game 3, but game 3 I didn't see what I needed to see against him. So then it's just like went downhill from there. But damn, I mean, yellow. I'm surprised. I'm not surprised because yellow, from the get go, since that the Japanese meta was like the deck. But obviously our meta changed when the promos got introduced. Basically a set earlier, than what it was supposed to.
And we have Pulsemon.
Yeah, Pulsemon just wrecks that deck's consistency. Like it goes hard, bro. It's like It just adds on to the ability of Yellow Wargrave with the draw power and the memory gainage, just to screw over your opponent. So
Yeah,
it's really good.
yeah. Cam was making the point earlier that Pulsemon, it's good because basically what the first place winner said that instead of running the 2-drop vanillas, he's running Pulsemon because it's basically a 2-drop vanilla that draws you a card and gains you a memory. And Cam was saying that text is more important than anything in this format because what's the point of running something subpar or unoptimal versus hey, look, I have a lot of card text. It's going to do something. It's going to do something big for me. I don't know when, but when I need it to go off, it's going to go off. And he was making those points.
And Texas is the
Yeah.
greatest state of all time. You're welcome.
No, I completely understand, especially when deck building, you want to have a card be a purpose with the deck, not just, oh, if this goes off with this, then this is gonna happen. You want everything to play consistently, nothing to be a dead draw. And Pulsemon, especially next set with Rookie Rush, is you're gonna see that specific statement of it being the 2 cost and the
Oh
draw
yeah.
power.
Well, right now I've had people they're playing like a weird Mega Zoo list where they play like the Pulsemon with the Aqua Viper, so you keep looping the Pulsemon.
Mm,
I
makes
Yeah,
mean,
sense.
yeah.
the rookie rush player. I think he's on Gaia Force Gaming. The one that played Chimera Montech and the Aqua Vipers. He was kind of playing that. So he would Aqua Viper. He would Chimeramon first, and then Aqua Viper back to Chimeramon to have it back in hand to do it again, which I thought was interesting because you're just removing a lot of blockers or a lot of. Does Chimeramon hit level 5s? Because
Yeah.
if so, yeah, then you're removing a lot of things, and they're just fall so far behind at that point.
Yeah,
I've
bullying level
seen,
fives is the name of the game.
yeah, level fives are the most dangerous thing on a field.
So finish your tournament report, and then I'll ask you what deck you think is going to be big for next week.
Personally, I think next week, you're definitely gonna see a lot more yellow just because, and definitely a lot more Mastamon just because of um, what happened in this tournament. Uh, Maybe some more red yellow security. Green might fall off a bit. I think,
I I was mentioning that you open the door for Rookie Rush and Imperial as soon as that goes away.
yeah,
That
Imperial might sneak in a win also.
because like as soon as the green matchup, because you know me, I love all the aggressive decks, Danny, and
Of course.
from my testing so far, um, the green against Rookie Rush, whatever variant it is once you get Nidhogg, that you just the tempo is so set back so far that it's kind of hard to get that tempo up again. And if they're at like 2 to 3, maybe 4 security, you lost that game. There's no way because you're gonna build a board again, then they're gonna Nidhogg you again, and then you just don't have gas at that point.
It
So.
it It really
Mm.
does depend too, just because of the amount of Nidhogg's and the requirements to pull off the Nidhogg. Uh, I will say Rookie Rush is still Rookie Rush, and that deck will do what it needs to do. So it's like I can never count it out against the green matchup.
Well, that's true. That is true. And I think that's where the blue green variant is a little bit better than the purple payback variant of the deck that's been floating around. But it'll be interesting to see. I definitely think green may. I think green Hercules is on the rise, but green as a whole may take a dip for next week. And I had brought up do we see any red decks, any red omnis, in the future for next week?
You
I just.
know,
Mhm.
um, the thing about Red Omni, the best tech in Red Omni for this format, I believe, is Ultra S, just because of the Digivolve. And also, if you're running the Blitz, it's also a great tech because a lot of people with the Digiburstings probably won't think ahead of what's going to happen if they Digiburst their level 3. They leave the egg there vulnerable, Digimon goes away with the Digivolves. Um, so that's a great thing to think about when you're going up against Red Omni. the Digivolve aspect.
And that's where this Black War Greymon player, yesterday he had two Bliss Greymon and slotted in his deck, and he took advantage of. If the yellow player didn't suspect he had that, and they lost the chicken race, he won with the blitz and set them back, which I thought was very interesting to see, personally. I think it was a well. Just finish up your tournament report. I think it was an exciting event overall, mostly, but
It was very interesting just to see the amount of like top players this tournament not secure the high spots. I know a lot of them did, but a lot of them that I've seen success this format didn't see that, and it was crazy to see that, especially. Um, it was a very interesting tournament, just
and
because of the difference in decks people play in their own regions and their own locals, so they don't expect some decks to pop up, so they don't prepare for such decks.
I think that has a lot to do with it. I'll see. And next week will be interesting because next week we'll have. I mean, I don't know how much more you could jam into that Word Greymon deck. So we'll have some decks and we'll see some interesting things next week. Maybe purple comes up. I don't know about that, but maybe Blue Imperial might be having its day if people don't play McDonald's or green. But we'll have to wait and see. You know. But what? Are you playing Green OTK again, or no? That was
I I I don't think I'd play after the way it treated me. I have a lot of respect for the deck, um,
mhm.
but after that performance, maybe I kind of want to hang the cape on Green OTK. Um, I unfortunately wasn't able to get more entries into the other tournaments, so I have no redemption arc coming for me
Oof.
in the
Um,
in the
you
cup.
are you entering Gen Con? Because I know in persons went up at 12, and the onlines haven't been up yet for that. But
Uh, I'm I'm thinking about it. I just gotta talk to somebody to see if that's like gonna be a thing. Um, so I just have to see about that. I kind of want to see how I do in Washington D.C. for Otakon. First
yes,
with Otakon with set 5 first before I want to dive into another big tournament like that.
yeah, that's 1,000%, and we're gonna see. We're gonna see how the meta shapes up. Cam, give me your last words on the Evo Cup here.
I mean, the Evo Cup is pretty. I'm glad to see like of the things that weren't yellow. Um, it's almost like you have yellow and then the rest of the metagame. So the rest of it's very interesting to see. I think it is very up in the air. So I mean, it is a good question to ask as far as what are we going to see next week? Because it's kind of like, and I kind of agree. I think we might just see more yellow. I think it'll just be more and more of that. Like the deck, outside of the promos, it's not that hard to get a hold of. Like the War Greymon itself, a lot of the other stuff that's really strong in the deck is,
The only expensive thing is Lucimon, Pulsemon, and that Pata promo is approaching $20. So.
yeah. And the pad is a little, it's not like as essential as like the starter deck Patamon, for example, but yeah, that like Evo Cup, I definitely I think overall we need more like this. I'll be glad to see because we got the Gen Con, the Otakon, so we got to
We,
have
we
more.
we also have TCG Con in Texas coming up as well.
Hmm.
Yeah, so we're like the meta is definitely like developing, but I think part of the thing to think about too is as stacked as our upcoming situation is, I think 23rd is when the next set comes out.
Pre-release
Pre-release.
pre-release starts the 30th of this month.
Okay, so yeah, it's a whirlwind. That's that at the end of the day, it's kind of what we predicted. It's gonna be a whirlwind of a format. So I guess hold on to your seats.
Noel, any final thoughts on the Evo Cup? No? Okay. Alrighty, Kevin.
Yeah. Noel
Uh-huh.
gave you the best answer of everybody. He said nothing like he's supposed to. I respect that. Out of all, I respect that answer.
I mean, yellow is its favorite deck, and that was like the most anticlimactic thing I got. So
Smartest thing.
it's
Smartest thing. All right. And after this clusterfuck of an episode, I do want to thank Moses for coming to the show. He did left afterwards. I do thank Cam for obviously being in the entire episode, who's been here in the beginning. Thank you, Cam.
Mm-hmm.
You're welcome.
And of course, we got Joe, we got Danny here. Good guys, congratulations on your time in the tournament. Wish you guys best of luck in the future, and hope you guys do well in the Oval Cup, I guess. And of course, thank you, Yeovani, for for everything.
For being here. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, but it's fun, Kevin. I love making these episodes with you, buddy. We've come a long way.
We have come a long way. I really hope we do get a lot of people's attention with the wrestling and then the cards. You guys want to do the timestamp? We'll do a timestamp.
I mean, Bandai listened to us because they asked us for Dragon Ball Super. I'm excited. They're listening to us. They're giving us a shot. So
that's great.
It's great. It's great. It's great to see.
That's also great. And of course, if you guys listened to the early intro of how I reacted, that was actually based off the OSW podcast. Let's give a huge shout out to Jay Hunter, V1, and Mr. OOC for all their hard work, reaching 100 episodes on the OSW podcast with the recent episode on the Heroes of Wrestling, which is it was terrible. But go ahead and check them out. That's the OSW, Old School Wrestling Review Podcast. Go ahead and check them out. Link in the description below. Give them a huge shout out. And I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. AEW was fun. Digimon Cup was challenging. And we hope to see you guys on the next episode. From all of us here on the TCG Party Podcast, this is Fortress Striker, signing off.